Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show, cutting from right here on my YouTube channel. I am, of course, your host, John Campea, and it is an awesome honor and privilege, as it is every day, to have you, our international friends, gather around as we talk about our favorite things in the world: movies, movie news, TV, streaming, all sorts of good stuff, guys. And it's Monday. Welcome to the beginning of another triumphant week for yourself and those around you. Speaking of those around me, sitting right beside me, he brings triumph and victory wherever he goes, Mr. Robert Meyer Burnett. Robert, how you doing?
John, I can't believe we're on the cusp of September.
I know.
Ooh.
What happened this year? We're having so much fun here at the John Campea Show. I feel like the days just...
I feel like summer just started. I
do too.
honestly do. I feel like, well, also the fact that it's supposed to go up to 110 degrees here in a couple of days.
Yes.
It says not even like summer's
And they trimmed all of the trees in this area, so there's no more shade.
I know, no more
area.
shade. I noticed that the other day. I drove in here on the weekend to do some work on the weekend. I noticed these crews cutting down trees. I'm like, oh, come on.
No palm fronds will fall on the cars.
Anyway, also sitting right beside Robert, she'll find the bright side of this. Chris Carr's here. Chris, how you doing?
I'm good. I mean, I don't like 100-degree days. That's disgusting. But we have AC in here. This is nice. And I have toys. Look what Ray got. And it's Ben Schwartz's voice.
And it speaks.
He is.
Speaking of Ray, he's joining you guys in the live chat today, sitting over there, master of naps, Ray Orr. Ray, how you
I
doing?
have to bring this up. I watched the movie last night on Amazon Prime called Samaritan.
Oh, you did see it. What? Yeah? Okay,
Oh,
and?
no.
Yay
Let's
or
go.
nay?
You can't wait. You specifically say, I have to bring this up, and then you don't say
Anyone
anything
who saw
about it.
knows what I'm talking about.
Oh, is it not
You
good?
Just see it. Just watch it, and you let me know.
I had the choice the other night of either Ann and I had the choice of either watching Samaritan or going to watch Rogue One again.
Oh yeah, you made the right choice.
And we opted for going to see Rogue
You
One
made.
again.
You should see it again and again.
By the way, we'll talk about it a little bit later. Can I just say, I remember watching Rogue One in theaters and coming out really hyped for it. Plug your kids' ears if they're watching right now. That movie's fucking awesome. It was. I'd never seen it in an IMAX screen, and like watching it in IMAX, and like the theater was packed. By the way, sold out. The IMAX was completely sold out, and people were whooping and hollering. You could tell there were people in there who had not seen the movie.
Oh, wow.
Because when they're down on the planet's surface and Bodhi's in the ship and the battle's already started and the grenade comes in, one guy, it was the funniest thing, one guy in the back goes, "Oh shit," before the thing goes off. So you could tell, well, there's the guy that's never seen this before. And like the whole audience just reacted. So good.
How was they showed more of Andor, right?
They showed like a 12-minute, I lost track of time. I'm going to guess about a 12-minute little featurette on Andor.
Ooh.
Chef's kiss. It looks so good. Looks so good. You know what else looks good, guys? You guys, you look amazing today. I can look through the internets and see that you look fabulous today. And we are so glad that you're here joining us in today's show. And here's how today's show is going to go. We're going to break it into two parts. In the first half of the show, we're going to talk about some predetermined topics. Then in the second half of the show, we're going to take your live comments and questions. To get a live comment or question on the show, two things. Number one, you got to be watching live. Secondly, when we get to the end of our main topics, we'll announce that we're opening up the super chats. That will be your time that you can fire in a thought, comment, opinion, question that we will address in the second half of the show. All right, guys, with that all down, let's get into a couple of off the tops here. And the first one is this, and I'm sure, Ray came into the office today with a skip in his step, smile on his face, because he has found out it's official. Megan Thee Stallion has a role on She-Hulk. Yes, it is now official. There had been some speculation and guessing going around that there was going to be the Megan.
Why you throw me under the bus for someone I don't even know who that is?
I don't know. I just decided to pick on you. Who's that? So there have been some speculation going around because apparently a while ago, a stunt double put on their resume that they were Megan Thee Stallion's stunt double on the Hulk, which is like, what? But no, apparently Megan Thee Stallion has herself come out and confirmed that that's her upcoming project. So I'm going to guess not in the first 4 episodes. Is that how many they showed people? I think they showed the first 4. So I'm going to guess it's not in the first 4 episodes. Probably comes a little bit later. All right. So I had some people writing to me when this kind of came out and asked, John, are you going to rant on this? I'm like, and I wrote, why would I rant about this? And they're like, well, because you don't like it when like singers get roles. I said, no. Don't misunderstand. I don't mind when singers or music celebrities or other kinds of celebrities get roles. Where I get concerned is when you take a random celebrity who is not an actor and you give them a lead. Like giving somebody small, like remember when Keith Richards showed up in Pirates of the Caribbean as Jack Sparrow's dad? That was perfect. It was a small little role. They basically modeled the character of Captain Jack Sparrow after Keith Richards anyway. Little appearances like that. Obviously, so I don't mind. Oh, you got a concern?
I know that someone at this table is a huge fan of Cool as Ice.
Yes, I am.
And that movie stars Ice-T.
Yes.
Ice Cube.
But
Ice.
Whoa.
No,
Ice.
Vanilla
Ice.
Ice. One of the Ice. one of the Ice
I
family
was kidding.
members.
Ice Baby.
Yes. But I hail that as the greatest terrible movie of all
All
time.
right, I just want to clarify.
Now, if you want your movie to be in the running for a great terrible movie, then by all means, go out and cast a.
Hey, look,
a
I mean,
singer.
I love Stone Cold, and that stars a failed football player in the NFL.
Well, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Oh, he's a.
No, Stone Cold Brian Bosworth.
Oh, you're talking about Brian Bosworth. Yeah. Oh, yes, I thought you were talking about because Stone Cold Steve Austin also appeared in a couple of things. But I mean, for
He's pretty
something
good,
like
though.
She-Hulk, somebody's going to step in for probably a third of one episode, playing one novelty kind of character. I don't mind that because you get the right celebrity and drop them in one of these little, kind of basically throwaway roles.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
give them one of the. It can actually create a pretty fun moment in an episode or a pretty fun moment in a movie. So I have no problem with that whatsoever. I just get a little bit concerned once it's like, oh, so real acting skill and the craft means absolutely nothing. You just had to anybody who's got to carry a movie. That's where I get. So for something like this, I think this could be fun. Chris, you hear about this? What do you think?
I think this is great. I love Megan Thee Stallion. I think she's wonderful. I think this will be cute. And this is already a fun, very meta, very pop culture injected show. I think this will be cool. She's adorable.
That's not the word that comes to my mind, but okay.
And I
I love
wanna,
her.
I do want to point out that both Ice Cube and Ice-T, I'm a big fan of their acting. Like when Ice-T was in New Jack City as a cop.
Great on Law and Order.
He's great on Law and Order. And Ice Cube actually, I mean, he's done a lot of family movies.
Yes.
But he's also a very charismatic performer. So, but
Me and Dennis, we actually got to go down to his LA production studio. And we actually got to hang out with Ice Cube for like about
Really?
45 minutes because we were doing this thing. I'm trying to remember which
I'm a big
movie.
fan of it.
I think it was for one of his movies that he did with Kevin Hart.
was it Ride Along?
It was, yes, it was for Ride. I think it was for Ride Along too. So I got to go down and hang out, and he was hilarious. Like he was really, really funny. Anyway, totally sidetracked talking about She-Hulk. So anyway, I think this is interesting. You're right. This thing kind of being rife with like pop cultural references and all this kind of stuff. Having no, I don't know, maybe she's playing herself. Maybe it's some random character she's going to be, but I think it's going to be fun for a lot of people. Anyway, guys, the question is for you. What do you think about that? Megan Thee Stallion is going to be in She-Hulk. It's now confirmed. Does that concern you? Does it excite you? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and leave your thoughts there. All right, guys. With that down, let's do one more off the top, and that is this. Some of you may know that one of my biggest musical heroes, oddly enough, is Weird Al Yankovic. We have talked on the show before that I have literally seen Harrison Ford and just walked up and said hi, made conversation with him. I've just straddled on up to George Lucas and said, howdy, partner. And just
You straddled on up?
kind of like when you walk like you're riding a horse.
Okay, I
straddled
was
on
like,
up.
whoa.
Yeah, no,
John
that's
Campea After
no.
Dark.
This is
okay.
no.
All right.
This is not a dating app
Okay.
profile
Cool.
thing. No, straddling on up. No, not the reference whatsoever. But I already instantly regret the choice of my words. Thank you so much for that.
Wow.
Woo! Monday, we're feeling uncomfortable. What are we? 9 minutes into the show. Already flustered. 9 minutes in. So, I mean, I have no problem with that. I've spoken to and met everybody, except I've never had the guts to go up and talk to Weird Al Yankovic, despite the fact that I have literally physically bumped into him and been at like 6 or 7 different events with him. And like every time, man, it's like, now's your chance. Go talk to Weird Al. I'm like, no, I'm sure he's very busy. I can't. I don't want to disturb him, whatever. Like, I'm just totally nervous about it. Anyway, you guys know that Daniel Radcliffe is in one of the most interesting casting choices. By the way, after seeing this trailer, the casting of Daniel Radcliffe makes so much more sense to me. But Daniel Radcliffe is, of course, was cast as Weird Al, which a lot of us thought, really? But now I get it, because a trailer for Weird, the Al Yankovic story, has now come out, and it completely shattered my expectations of what this movie was going to be. Because prior to watching this trailer, I thought this was going to be a funnier, lighthearted, but basically a Bohemian Rhapsody, but about the story of Weird Al. How does one become like the world's first musical satire, like explosion hit maker? That's all he does. Like he has, I can't remember. He's ranks very high on like the all-time #1 charts. It's crazy. Weird Al. So I thought they were going to be a little bit of a Bohemian Rhapsody or Walk the Line or something like that, but about the life of Weird Al. And it would come along with all the idiosyncrasies that a Weird Al would have associated with. But it's not. This is less Walk the Line and more Walk Hard. Because I'm sitting there watching it, and right away, when the mom says to little Weird Al, your father and I feel that you should stop being who you are and doing the things you love. And I'm like, wait, wait, did his parents actually say that to him? That's messed up. And then you realize, no, this is like his whole life. It's a satire, like his whole career. It's a satire. And the whole, oh my God, when, which Cook did we say it was? Not Olivia Cook.
Rachel
It's
Lee.
Rachel Lee
Rachel-
Cook. When Rachel Lee Cook comes in as Madonna,
No, that's Evan Rachel Wood.
Evan
Rachel
Rachel
Wood.
Wood.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Thank you. Whenever Rachel Wood walks in there as Madonna, I'm like, this is the greatest trailer of all time. I'm watching this and I'm like, and then Rainn Wilson as Dr. Demento.
That's great casting,
That is
by the way.
brilliant casting. I gotta tell you, I have not known where my excitement level is going to be on this, because I love Weird Al, but this has all looked a little bit weird. And by the way, it's a Roku original, which I've never even heard of that. I am suddenly stupid excited for this now that I've seen the trailer. What do you think about it?
Dude, I love this trailer. And Evan Rachel Wood she was on one of the late night shows. I think it was Fallon. And she sings like in a Madonna cover band.
I did not know that.
And she
Just a
was
beautiful voice.
She was belting out. I mean, she's an incredible singer. And I was like watching, because I think it was Fallon, because I think it was The Roots that was playing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was unbelievable. I'm like, no wonder they cast her as. And apparently when they were making the movie, the director didn't know that she sang Madonna. And then they're like, oh, you have to sing in the movie now. And seeing this trailer, I mean, boy, does this movie look fun. But like you, I'm like, Roku original? Is that what? Where do you get that? Do you have to have a Roku to even see it?
Anyway, Chris, you saw, look at that image. I mean, that image kind of tells you
love
everything.
him.
You saw the trailer. What did you think about it?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Despite it being a Roku original, I have trusted and believed in this. I have thought this was going to have, Walk Hard kind of vibes. The Dewey Cox story is what I got from this initially. And that's what I think we're getting. We're going to have such a fun parody. How fun is it to see Al in the trailer too, playing an exec? I love that. I love that he's in it as well. I love that he wrote the script too. I think this is going to be super fun and weird. And also, I know that you still want it to be Taron Egerton as Wolverine, but him running around on stage without his shirt on, I was like, that's my Wolverine. That guy right there.
Yeah,
That's
but
what I want.
You got to watch Black.
I do still have to watch that, yeah.
By the way, I think at first I already said that the mom saying, we really feel that you should stop being you and doing the things you love. I think my other favorite moment, maybe my favorite moment of that trailer, was when the record exec says, you can't smoke in here. And he grabs his hand and puts a cigarette and he goes, no, I deserve that. I deserve that. I don't know. Listen, we always say around here, the job of a trailer is to take your excitement level, no matter if it's high or really low, and bump it up a couple of notches. And this trailer has finally opened my eyes to what this movie is.
Yeah.
And I am now completely on board with it. I loved what I saw. Questions for you guys. What did you think about the weird Al Yankovic story? Whatever you guys thought about it, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.
I think that we found our new Wolverine. Chris?
I love him. Let me have this,
Wolverine.
Jonathan. Listen, we're still in my birthday week, and if I want him to be Wolverine, it's going to happen.
It's make it happen. Make it happen.
I'm wishing really hard.
All right, guys. Before we move on now into our main topics and hear from one of our sponsors, I told you last week we have a brand new segment starting today. We have, thanks to our friends at Mint Mobile, we have a new segment that we're going to do on the show every day. That is the Mint Mobile Hotline question of the day. If you guys have a question you'd like us to address, you can phone that hotline number. That's at 951-268-4259. And we will select one every day. We obviously can't do all of them, but we will select one every day and play it. Maybe you'll hear yourself and we'll address that. So we've got our first one today that I believe is from Chris. Take it away.
Hey, my name's Chris. Hey, John. I was just wondering what you think of the movie Ready Player One. It's a movie I really love, and I was just wondering your thoughts on what would you think of a Ready Player One show on HBO Max?
All right. Thanks a lot for sending that in, Chris. Okay, so Ready Player One was one of those hit pop cultural books that everybody was talking about that I never actually read. I never actually read Ready Player One, although my wife, who I do not confuse with my mother, my wife.
You're doing well today. Wow.
I told you, Chris completely threw me off. So my wife was like every morning listening to like a chapter, getting ready in the morning. She would play the audiobook in the bathroom as she was getting ready, for the day. And of course, well, I was going to say something. Filter between brain and mouth activated. Okay, so she's listening to like a chapter a day. So I heard bits and pieces of it, but I was not nearly as well versed in it as like a lot of people were, because everybody loved that book, right? So Steven Spielberg's making the movie. I watch it. I loved this movie. I loved it. Now, I was fortunate that I hadn't read the book first, because I didn't go in with some pre-existing expectations. Well, it's got to do this, this, and this. I just went in to watch a movie, and I thought the movie was utterly fantastic. I had a wonderful time with it. Just really, really fun. All the references and the things, like everything is showing up in it. Like everything is showing. Like when the Iron Giant shows up in it, I'm like, okay. I mean, it was great. A little bit of a weird ending, I gotta say. But like, wait a minute. So is this supernatural now? Like, if you remember how it ended and everything, I'm like, is that what they're going for here? But whatever, be that as it may. Could they take that and make it an HBO series? I think you could, but you couldn't do it on the book. The book is a movie, as far as I'm concerned. So could you go beyond the book and do a series of what happens after the events of the book? Now, there's a sequel too, is there not, Ray?
Yes,
like, weren't you reading the sequel yourself to this, or no? You're reading the sequel to what was that Mars one that Matt Damon did?
Oh, The Martian.
The Martian. You were reading it. There was a sequel to that
Artemis.
one, right?
I was reading the same author, Andy Weir.
Right.
Is Artemis, but no, there's a Ready Player Two.
Right. So that's already out. So I think you can do that and the ongoing things if you go beyond the literature. So there's a possibility there, but I don't see like the original story, the original book as a series itself. I don't know, Rob, what do you think?
Well, I mean, I think you'd have to figure out a way to extend the story, or do something different, because I thought, Ready Player One is a pretty a story that has a beginning, a middle, and an end. But the idea of the metaverse and that whole universe and going in there is a pretty interesting one, and they've dealt with that in things like The Matrix. Like, what does it mean to have that kind of a virtual world? And I think but it would be expensive.
Yeah. And from what I understand, like Ready Player Two was not nearly as well received as like Ready Player One. It never caught on like the first book did. Anyway, Chris, could you see them doing an HBO series of Ready Player One?
I mean, if anyone's going to do it, HBO would do it well. I think from the other streamers, I would believe in them, because you do have all that meta stuff to work with. You've got a dystopian future. I mean, it's all those lovely, delicious things that television shows want to work with, is just tons and tons of lovely Easter eggs as you're on the quest for an Easter egg. I think audiences would be really into it. Oh, this image is great. Also, can you bring up the picture of him again, Jonathan, with him within his visor? Look, he's auditioning for Cyclops right there. Perfect.
X-Men.
Yeah. Guys, another Easter egg within this movie.
By the end of the show.
But I do think that HBO could do it well, but I think you're right. It worked really well as a movie.
All right, guys. So that'll do it for the hotline question of the day. Thanks to our friends at Mint Mobile. Let's bring that number up one more time. If you've got a question you'd like us to address on the show, go ahead and fire one in at 951-268-4259. And a big thank you again to our friends at Mint Mobile for making the hotline possible. All right. With that down, guys, we're going to move into our main topics. But before we do, we're going to take a second and thank one of the sponsors of today's episodes, our friends at Stamps.com. Guys, we want to take a second to thank the sponsor of this episode, Stamps.com. Guys, you know the holiday season has a way of sneaking up on us, and we are never as prepared as we think we are. And if you're a small business owner, you know how important it is to get ready for the insane holiday season. And even if you just got a lot of family or friends that you're going to be shipping stuff to, now's the time to get ready. Luckily for us, Stamps.com has everything you need to make your life a whole lot easier. Because Stamps.com is your one-stop shop for all of your shipping and mailing needs. Get access to the USPS and UPS services you need to run your business right from your computer. Because with inflation on the rise, every single dollar counts. Protect your margins with major discounts on USPS and UPS rates up to 86% off. Stamps.com offers a stress-free solution for everyone. Use Stamps.com to print postage wherever you do business. All you need is a computer and a printer. And if you need a package pickup, you can easily schedule it through your Stamps.com dashboard. So get out ahead of the holiday chaos this year. Get started with Stamps.com today. Sign up with the promo code CAMPEA for a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and a free digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts. Just go to Stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top of the page, and enter the code CAMPEA. And thank you to our friends at Stamps.com for sponsoring this episode of the John Campea Show. All right, guys, with that down, let's get into our main topics here today. And how do we select our main topics on the John Campea Show? Well, that's easy. You guys come up with them. Whenever you come across a big topic, issue, or story that you guys feel we need to cover as a main topic on the show, just go anytime 24/7 over to www.thejohncampeashow.com/contact. Once you guys get there, you're going to see a form. Fill it out with your topic or question. It's 100% free. Hit submit, and then maybe, just maybe, you might see your submission featured as a main topic here on the John Campea Show. With that down, Chris, what is our first main topic today?
This comes from Keith Connolly. Good morning, crew. I saw that Netflix is celebrating its 25th birthday today, and it got me thinking about just how important and influential the company has been. It's still the biggest name in streaming, even though Disney and HBO have been challenging it. How would you say Netflix has been revolutionary in the whole entertainment landscape? Thanks, and bring on the filthy.
All right, thanks a lot for saying that in, Keith. And yeah, officially they are celebrating. Netflix is celebrating their 25th anniversary, 25th birthday. And it is crazy. You almost forget, even those of us who lived through it, that Netflix was not a streamer.
No.
They were a DVD delivery company that completely revolutionized the way home entertainment worked. It wasn't streaming that put Blockbuster out of business. I mean, streaming kind of came in and gave it the killing blow. But I mean, the thing that put like things like Blockbuster, or if you're Canadian like me, Rogers Video and things like that, the thing that put it on life support was Netflix. The idea was simple for those of you under 18. The idea was simple. This is back when DVDs ruled the day. You wanted to watch a movie, but you didn't want the inconvenience of having to get in the car, drive to Blockbuster. First of all, you got to get changed out of your pajamas, get dressed, get in your car, drive to Blockbuster, whatever your local video thing was, walk up and down the aisles, find something, hope that it's in stock, take it back. And by the way, I'm talking negatively about it. I'm not going to lie to you. I used to love that experience. I used to love going to the video store. But still, walk up and down, go up, pay for it, sign your life away, take it home, and if you didn't have it back right on time, pay $700 late fee or whatever it ended up being. And so Netflix came up with this idea. You create a queue of all the movies you want in order, and you get the first 3 mailed to you, and then you keep them as long as you want. Well, as long as you want, as long as you're paying the monthly fee for the subscription service. And then when you're ready, send them back, and the next 3 movies on your list will get mailed out to you, or send one back and the next one will come to you. And it was just like that. It changed everything. And I think today we forget about that. Now, eventually came the time when getting out of your pajamas, getting in the car, driving to the video store, that was too long. Eventually we got so lazy that, I got to put these discs in an envelope and walk to my mailbox. Who's got time for that? And then streaming was born, but still. And how this whole thing came to be is kind of crazy. And you can thank Tom Hanks, as you can for everybody, because it was Apollo 13 that changed the world. This comes to us from Deadline, writes the following. Netflix's saga starts, at least according to popular legend, with a moonshot. Co-founder Hastings describes getting shocked with a $40 late fee on Apollo 13 at Blockbuster and wondering, what if there were no late fees? But the streaming giant's origin story is more complicated than this convenient narrative, which neatly distilled the service's initial consumer proposition of renting DVDs without worrying about return dates or late fees. The idea was hardly a bolt from the blue, says co-founder Randolph, but a concept arrived at other countless brainstorming sessions with Hastings as they logged miles together talking about the formation of the company. So, number one, they completely changed home entertainment with the whole DVD mailing system and introduced online to being part of that process. You weren't streaming the movies, but you went online, created your account, created your movie queue, all from the comfort of your living room. And then the movies just got sent to you and you sent them back. Changed the game. And then they changed the game again with streaming. I still remember the first time I got my very first Roku. This is when I first moved to LA over a decade ago. When I got my first Roku device. And I streamed something on Netflix. It was crazy. It was nuts. They completely revolutionized today. Everything going on today with the streaming wars, with Peacock and Paramount Plus and HBO Max and Disney Plus and all this stuff, it all is here as a direct lineage result of what Netflix did by creating the whole streaming concept, or at least, at the very least, popularizing it and making it popular. Then they changed the game again because they looked at the landscape and they said, you know what? Eventually, there are going to be other services that are doing what we're doing with this streaming thing. And I remember there's this famous quote by the Netflix guy who said, we've got to become HBO before HBO becomes us. Basically saying, we are not going to be able to survive indefinitely at streaming other people's stuff because other people are going to start streaming. Other companies are going to start streaming, and then they're going to start keeping their content, and we're not going to have anything. We need to start actually creating our own content. And now I don't know for sure what the actual first Netflix original was, but I remember the first one that everybody got really interested in, House of Cards. Everybody was like, wait, Netflix is making a show, like an original series?
For a lot of money.
For a lot of money with big time names and big time directors and all this kind of stuff. And they changed the game. Today, Disney Plus is more than just a library of old Disney stuff because Netflix started making originals and all that kind of stuff. And truly, Netflix did get ahead of everybody else. They became HBO before HBO could become them. And now it has come to pass. HBO has now its own Netflix, right? So that's all true too. They changed the game for home entertainment with the DVD thing. They changed everything with streaming. They changed everything with creating originals. Now, we may have been talking a lot in the last couple of months about Netflix having a difficult time. And it has been a difficult year for Netflix. Don't get us wrong. It absolutely has been a difficult year. But they are still number one by a pretty good margin. They are still number one. And they are still creating incredible stuff. Like one of the biggest TV phenomena, two of the biggest TV phenomena I can think of the past year was I almost said Hunger Games, but was
Stranger Things.
Stranger Things and the Squid Games, right? They keep pumping out iconic television stuff, all these things. But yeah, the whole landscape is the way it is today. And again, I criticize Netflix a bunch, but the reality is they are the ones that made this whole thing possible. Rob, we're sitting on the cusp here of the 25th anniversary of Netflix. What pops into your head when you think about Netflix and what put in context what they have meant historically?
Well, like you said, the evolution of they're a company that evolved based on what they saw as consumer trends and the changing landscape of things. You know, when you think about a company like Xerox, when Xerox became part of the vernacular, when you wanted to copy something, you Xeroxed it. Can you make a Xerox of this for me? When I started to hear people say Netflix and chill, I was like, we're not going to go rent a movie anymore. It became Netflix and chill. Like it wasn't just Netflix. It was Netflix and an act, meaning someone's going to come over and chill with you. Like it meant dating.
It meant more than that, but sure. Yeah, let's go with that.
No, but it started to mean all kinds of things. Hey, you want to come over to Netflix and chill? I mean, suddenly it was not just a company that provided discs or streaming content. It provided an experience, like a whole evening of experience, whether it was friends or dating or family. You know, come over and bring the family over. We'll Netflix and chill. We'll make some dinner. Barbecue. I mean, I was
Again, not the way I heard the term used, but sure. Let's go with a more wholesome approach.
but either way, once you heard that, once a company becomes beyond a company, it becomes a thing, a thing to do. Things have changed. And now, of course, Netflix, everyone's been trying to catch up. The major motion picture studios were trying to catch up to Netflix. And now they're still battling Netflix. Netflix, say what you want, as you pointed out, they're still the top. And they were the ones paying $100 million to license Friends. And everyone's like, well, how do we get our stuff back from, why do they make so much money? And it's been really interesting to watch them. I really do feel, John, that what happened to Netflix with their stock price, this was a correction, but people were gunning for them.
Oh yeah.
They were going after them. Netflix, I think everyone's like, oh, it's going to be the end of, it's not the end of Netflix. Netflix is just, once again, they're going to evolve. And they're evolving by creating their own content. They were the first people that said, you know what? We're the ones. We can't rely on our licenses. We have to create new content. And they have been. I mean, it wasn't just, it was House of Cards. That's where it started. But, I mean, if you look at, they have the most diverse programming of any streamer.
They really do.
Yeah, and they were the first people that went after. I mean, now you saw a deal. I think it was this weekend. Disney made a deal, Disney Star for cricket. Huge. But it was Netflix that was going after all kinds, Squid Game, but foreign content from India, from China, from all over the world, France. I mean, they're making deals to turn Harlan Corbin's books into like 10 different miniseries. They're doing an incredible amount. No one touches them. And now they're going to have to evolve along with the business of it all.
Do you remember a couple of years ago, there's that whole thing where I can't remember, it was the one U.S. politician, congressman, and congresswoman said, the internet are a bunch of tubes. And
Al Gore.
It wasn't Al Gore that said that. It was
That the internet was a series of tubes?
But yeah, I think it was.
I thought it was him.
No, it wasn't him. It was a series of tubes, and they're getting clogged in this. But there was a big thing a couple of years ago that internet traffic was crazy, and the biggest internet traffic was happening between like 5 and 9 p.m. because people were watching Netflix. There was some crazy. I might be off on this number, but there was some crazy number. The statistic came out that was like, yeah, like 80% of America's bandwidth is Netflix. I think this is a couple of years ago, right? Like that's how influential they were. And Chris, you're hearing the story. Netflix turned 25.
Yeah.
In an industry where all these streaming services are little infants. Netflix is 25. What stands out to you when you look at their place in history here?
My mom was a Xerox rep, so I appreciate that a lot. I know what a Xerox is. I remember as a kid thinking that Netflix was so dumb because I loved my dad taking me to Blockbuster. And you'd go and you'd pick out your movie based on the VHS cover, right? And you were like, oh, this is what I want. This is what I'm picking up this week. But for them to have started with this service of just sending out discs, right, to where they are now is wild. To piggyback off of what Rob was saying too, with the foreign markets and everything, their first series was Lilyhammer, which was a Norwegian-American production, right? A year later, then they did House of Cards. And then 3 years after they started making their own original content, they had over 125 different original films or television series under their moniker, which is wild. Now, should they slow down on that a little bit? I think so. I feel like that's probably a little bit of the problem. Quality over quantity. But I mean, they're a powerhouse. They changed the way we consume media, and they changed the way that media is being written too. I mean, so many writers' rooms now are focused on the binge delivery system, and it changes your narrative a lot because if you're going to consume 12 episodes of something, that's very different than a weekly kind of show. So they've had a huge impact, not only on just the way we're consuming it, but the way things are being made.
And they also, when that all stuff was happening, it also changed power dynamics in Hollywood. Like a lot of people think like the big writer's strike that happened a bunch of years ago. I mean, a lot of that, there was more involved, but it was like, how do we deal with payments and residuals when it comes to streaming, when it comes to this Netflix thing? They fundamentally changed everything, and we're still in the process of all that change. Anyway, guys, question is for you. When you think about Netflix, now granted, the last couple of years we're talking about stock prices dropping and they lost some subscribers. It's been a tough year, yes, but they have been the ones that have really been the people on the frontier, if you will, going out there and blazing the trail. What do you think about Netflix when you think about their 25-year history? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys, with that down, let's move on to main topic number 2. Chris, what is our second main topic today?
This one comes from Kyle. Hey, y'all. Well, another one bites the dust over at Netflix as it was announced that Resident Evil has been left for dead after a single season. I honestly tapped out of the show after hearing the phrase, and I'm not joking here, Zootopia porn in it. So I can only imagine so many others did as well. With this and the most Resident Evil movies being flops, do you see the franchise getting another chance, or is it dead on arrival for a good while?
All right, thanks a lot for saying that in. And I will admit, I forget the series even came out. I remember it did finally launch to very little fanfare. And very quietly, the shit talk about it started coming out. Apparently, it didn't have a lot of things. Now, I'm not going to be disingenuous here. I have not seen it. I'm not a big Resident Evil fan to begin with. Like, I'm not a fan of the movies. And so I wasn't super interested in the series. The trailers didn't do anything to get me excited about, but I cannot say the series was bad because I did not see it. What? A movie fan on the internet who can't say they liked or disliked something before watching it? What? Yeah, I know. It's crazy, isn't it? But I haven't seen it, so I can't personally say it's bad. But a lot of people did who did see it. This comes to us from the folks over at Polygon who write the following. Netflix's live-action Resident Evil series will not get a second season. Deadline reported Friday. Despite grand long-term plans for the television adaptation of Capcom's survival horror franchise, the Resident Evil series reportedly did not find a large enough audience to warrant renewal. Resident Evil premiered in July, shortly after the highly successful and conversation-dominating second part of Stranger Things Season 4 dropped on Netflix, which could account for the former's tepid word of mouth. The show was also poorly received by critics and fans. In Polygon's review of the first season, we said, the biggest surprise about Netflix's new Resident Evil series is its careful devotion to the series, weird and often tampered with canon, and just how boring the show is as a result. And that was one of the kindest reviews that I had seen of it. So listen, Netflix has been in the news a lot for canceling shows before, like beloved shows, but it also cancels ones that don't get received so well by this. Rob, you heard about the cancellation. What do you think?
Well, one of the things about Netflix is they have very tough analytics. And if a show isn't working, if it isn't performing up to snuff, they axe that. There's no, let's give it a chance, because they can tell. Their analytics, real-time analytics, they know who's watching, when they're watching, how they're watching, and they know immediately if something doesn't work out for them. And it's unfortunate. I mean, I was looking forward to this. I don't think the Resident Evil film franchise is by any means great, but I like it.
It has a lot of fans. It does have a lot of fans.
As exploitation B movies and zombies and stuff, there's a lot that some are better than others, but I enjoyed it. And I was kind of looking forward to this series. And I would agree that I just thought the tone was off. They've got to do something. I don't think it had its own identity. It felt like I was watching a bunch of different things thrown together in a blender that I'd recognized from other places, and the resulting mix was not good. I didn't love it.
Chris, you hear about the cancellation. Now, you are not what one would call a horror aficionado.
No.
So I'm going to assume you probably didn't, spend time with Logan delving deep into Resident Evil Season 1, but you hear about the cancellation, the reason they give. What are your thoughts?
You are correct, John. Shocking, because everyone in here watched the trailer, and I think I was the only one who was like, this is kind of decent, but then I only liked the trailer because I went to their fake website. It was like, this is really neat. They put in a lot of work to this fake website, and I really appreciate that attention to detail. It doesn't surprise me at all that this is canceled. When you have something as incredible as, Sandman, that's maybe not getting a second season, and this is something that people barely tuned into, of course it's not getting the green light.
Anyway, guys, question is for you. Did you watch Resident Evil Season 1? If so, what did you think? Listen, it's all subjective, so maybe I'm sure it has people that absolutely loved it. I haven't seen it, so I can't give my opinion on it. But what did you think, and what do you think about its cancellation? Whatever your thoughts are, jump down to the comment section below and leave those thoughts there. Okay, guys, before we move into our next main topic here today, we're going to take a second and thank another sponsor of today's show. I'm actually wearing their shirt right now, our friends over at True Classic. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's episode, True Classic. This brand new sponsor has the absolute best fitting t-shirts that a man can buy. Finding the right t-shirt with a little bit of a dad bod is incredibly frustrating. Most t-shirts are either way too tight on your gut or look way too big and boxy. You're not in high school anymore and it's time to upgrade. True Classic has already helped over 2 million men finally get a better fit at an affordable price. And the John Campea Show viewers and listeners get access to the best deal they offer. For a limited time only, get 25% off using the code CAMPEA at trueclassic.com. Look, you and I both know that almost all of men's t-shirts are designed to look good on skinny models with six-packs. But let's be honest, that's not most of us. True Classic tees taper off towards the bottom, but they fit tighter around the chest and shoulders. It's time to highlight your best attributes with a t-shirt that you can always confidently throw on. Like most of you guys, ever since college, I have always struggled to find proper fitting t-shirts that are comfortable. Well, True Classic, from the moment I put on the shirt they sent me, solves it. And True Classic doesn't just stop at tees. From polos and workout shirts with the same flattering fit. Upgrade your wardrobe with True Classic. Get 25% off at trueclassic.com with the promo code CAMPEA. Free shipping included on purchases over $100. 100% risk-free guarantee with a 30-day refund policy. Stay classy with True Classic. Your dad bod will thank you. And a big thank you to True Classic for giving me this shirt and being a sponsor of the John Campea Show. Hey, listen, guys, we want to thank all of our sponsors. And if you want to check out our sponsors, the links and the promo codes are all down in the description of this video. And when you guys go and support our sponsors, you're actually supporting us. And I do love their shirt. I've got a couple of the shirts now. I love them. Go and try them out for yourself. All right, guys, with that down, let's move on to main topic number 3. Chris, what is our third main topic today?
This one is from Brian Meadow. Hey, the John Campea Show. I just saw a report from the Hollywood Reporter stating that the 4th Star Trek film has lost Matt Shakman as its director. With the topic on Friday about him in the run for Fantastic Four director, is this a coincidence or could this be further confirmation that either he's directing it or he's much further in talks than we thought?
All right, thanks a lot for sending that in. And yeah, ever since we found out Matt Shakman, by the way, you pronounce it Shakeman. Is it Shakeman or Shakman?
Oh, I don't know.
I think it's Shakman.
Is it Shakman? I honestly don't know, but I'll go with Shakman. We'll
Okay.
stick with Shakman for now.
Chuckman.
We talked a couple times last week about the reports are out there that Matt Shakman, and Deadline then followed up with it and said, yeah, Shakman has been meeting with Marvel. No official offer had been made yet, but I have a feeling next week, D23, we're going to see ourselves a Matt Shakman on stage. They're going to announce it officially, I believe. But anyway, so that's been out there. It looks like he's going to be the director for Fantastic Four. Of course, this guy's got one of the most extensive television directing resumes of big hit show after big hit show, including directing, of course, WandaVision, which done real well for them. Probably still the best thing that Disney Plus has put on. And he's going to be directing Fantastic Four. Well, you know, the laws of physics say you can't be in two places at once. And that meant there was another project that Matt Shakman was supposed to be directing, but it looks like he's not directing it anymore, and that is Star Trek 4. This comes to us from the folks over at Joe Blow, who write the following. The allure of the Marvel Cinematic Universe is greater than the final frontier. WandaVision director Matt Shakman signed on to direct Star Trek 4 last year, but with the recent news that he's in talks to direct the new Fantastic Four movie for Marvel Studios, he's decided to drop out of the Star Trek movie. Matt Shakman is an incredibly talented filmmaker, and we regret the timing didn't align for him to direct our upcoming Star Trek film, Paramount Pictures said in a statement to the Hollywood Reporter. We are grateful for his many contributions, are excited about the creative vision of this next chapter, and we look forward to bringing it to audiences all around the world. With Matt Shakman out, the search for a new director will begin immediately, search for Spock, but it's not yet clear if Star Trek 4 will still make its December 22nd, 2023 release. Now, couple little just, detail things here. They had already said that they were gunning to start production and not until the second half of the year, which means if they do get into production by, say, late October, November, they could very well still be right on schedule. Even though, December 2023 sounds ambitious, this technically won't really throw them off too much if they get another director in fairly quickly. It's unfortunate. I would be very curious to see the language in the contract, because you can't just sign a contract and say, oh, I don't want to do it anymore. I'm like, okay, there was probably language that his agents put in place in that contract that there are certain things that might be able to supersede it. An offer to direct a Marvel feature film may be one of those, and that was probably triggered in the contract. Listen, I thought it was a really interesting choice when they were going to get him to direct a Star Trek 4. There have been other directors attached to a Star Trek 4 that have also been very interesting sounding. It sounded like this time was really on pace. But hey, you get offered to do Fantastic Four. You get offered to bring Fantastic Four into the MCU. That's what you do. And it sounds like Paramount understands that. It's going to be interesting to see where that goes. But, anyway, Matt Shakman steps off Star Trek 4. Rob, let's not pretend you were interested in Star Trek 4. No, let me rephrase. Let's not pretend you had high expectations for Star Trek 4. But still, Matt Shakman departing, it's unfortunate.
I mean, look, obviously Star Trek's my favorite franchise. Yeah. And this particular iteration, this Star Trek 4 film, it's gone through people like Noah Hawley. Yep. There was a female director who was I forget her name. There was, talk of the Quentin Tarantino thing. This movie has gone through more iterations than The Flash.
Although the Tarantino thing was never going to be this movie.
No, but they've been trying for whatever Star Trek 4 was going to be. What bums me out is, to me, this is very indicative of the Trek franchise in that I would love to see somebody whose mission in life it is to make a great Star Trek movie, who comes in and says, listen, a writer-director, like somebody like, Nicholas Meyer. He was not a fan of Star Trek. He didn't know much about Star Trek. He'd done Time After Time, but he took a deep dive into Star Trek lore, and he understood that it was all based on kind of Horatio Hornblower, and gave us Star Trek 2. I would love to see that happen again. I wish the fact that this is like a project that they just slot people into, and then it disappears and they have to push it again. I mean, to me, that's kind of indicative of where the franchise is as a whole. I mean, in terms of, there are these people that are working on the franchise that aren't particular huge fans of the franchise. It's a job. They'll take the job and be like, yeah, I'll do that. But I'd love to see, passion behind the Star Trek franchise. And I don't know who that is, but I would just love to see that happen. Because I think this cast is very good, and Chris Pine is as long as it's well written. Yeah. He's a great Captain Kirk. And he's very charismatic, and I like this cast a great deal, and I would love to see them get a great movie made. Isn't that what we all want? I mean, Star Trek Beyond was not what I'd hoped, and I'm a huge fan of Justin Lin, directing the Fast and Furious movies. But I would love to see Star Trek 4 come out and be the best Star Trek movie of this new iteration.
Now, I'm a little different from you. I loved Beyond. I thought it was the best of the current iteration.
Oh, it was, but it didn't make a lot of money.
No, it did not. And I think that had a lot to do with Star Trek Into Darkness, that a lot of people didn't like so much. But anyway, Chris, you hear about this. It is unfortunate for Paramount because coming off of WandaVision, this could have been a real nice feather in their cap, having that, directing this. It's understandable, though. You get a chance to do Fantastic Four. What do you think of the move?
I mean, heck, the cast didn't even know if they were doing this movie, right?
Yeah, when they first announced it. That's
so
right.
Getting a director, I feel like that's going to be a whole other issue, too. I mean, it makes sense if there's a scheduling conflict here. I would go with Fantastic Four. If you have the option of doing a Marvel piece like that, where you get to be the person who makes that impact of introducing the Fantastic Four, I mean, how could you not take that opportunity?
All right, guys, question is for you. Great. Matt Shakman looks like he's directing Fantastic Four. We'll get the official word this week sometime. Too bad. He was going to do a Star Trek 4. He would have been a really interesting guy directing that film. But hey, who do you think might end up being in the director's chair for Star Trek 4? It sounds like they're still moving ahead. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and leave your thoughts there. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to main topic number 4. Chris, what is our 4th main topic today?
This is from Bob. House of the Dragon.
Just Bob.
Just Bob.
Hi, Bob.
Hi, Bob. House of the Dragon has revealed its opening credits, and it does reuse the Game of Thrones theme song. Some are debating if it was lazy, but it makes sense to me. Also, can people stop saying they're frequently reusing Thrones music? They've reused maybe 2 minutes total, if that, in 2 hours. There's plenty of new music, LOL. Anyways, thoughts on the score?
I'll tell you what, Bob, let's go one by one. Let's talk about that episode last night that played. Now, just so you know, we are not going to do an in-depth spoiler review here. But if you want that, at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time today, we've got our Game of Thrones House of the Dragon after show. Once again, that'll be at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, a little under 4 hours from now. That's 6 p.m. East Coast time. So if you guys want to get together, let's all talk in a big open spoilery way about last night's episode, House of the Dragon. Come and join us. But for now, let's talk about it briefly and touch on the thing about the music as well. Before I talk about the music, Ann and I sat down in the TJCS theater last night and watched the new House of the Dragon episode. Floored. Completely floored. I'm watching this and I'm thinking, okay, no big fights, no big battles, and I am riveted every second. It's all character. It's all character and story. It is truly, and you watch every one of these damn characters playing the Game of Thrones. They're all playing the game. They all, even the ones that look like they're not really in the game, they're just there watching. Oh, no. They're a pivotal piece of the game as well. Matt Smith continues to kill me as Daemon Targaryen. I love him. This young actress, I don't recall her name right now, who plays Rhaenyra, she owns. Like, I'm sitting there, we're watching this episode. I won't say what scene it was or what happens. And like something happens in the scene and my wife laying beside me just says, hashtag boss bitch. And I'm like, yeah, she is. And I'm just like, I everything about, I'm loving every character. I'm loving all the backstabbing and the intrigue. And they have somehow found a way to nail this show. Now, Grant, we're only 2 episodes in. And I guess the next episode is when the real big time jump is going to happen. But that episode ended last night, and I was just like, yeah, they've really got something special here. This is absolutely fascinating. Paddy Considine continues to kill it as the king. And Otto Hightower is like, oh my God, I love this episode. What can I tell you? I thought it was absolutely great. And there is a moment in this episode, if you've seen it, you'll know what I'm talking about, when 2 sides are facing off, that I just chills, man, just absolute chills. I love the episode that we saw. Let me talk for a second about the music, though. So we finally get the opening credit scene of what House of the Dragon was going to be. And we find out that they did decide to use the music from Game of Thrones, which is really the theme of the throne. It's the theme of Westeros, really. And whatever you may say, both Game of Thrones and House of Dragon and whatever's going to come after it, it all revolves around that fucking IKEA chair. It all revolves around that damn chair, that throne, as they call it, that really dangerous throne, as it turns out. I was honestly shocked when I heard there were people complaining that they decided to use the theme again. And I'll tell you why. I've gone a couple of times to go watch Rogue One again. Brilliant movie. Love Rogue One. But the same feeling I had the very first time I watched Rogue One, I had it again. That thing opens and it's just like, da, 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 da. Hey, listen, I'm not knocking the music in Rogue One. I'm not. But without that Star Wars fanfare, bum, ba, 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 bum, bum, ba, 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 without that, I just didn't feel like I was watching Star Wars. You know, that music plays, that Star Wars music plays, and I still criticize Lucasfilm that they don't use this. Well, it's only for the episodic. Screw that. It's Star Wars. That's the Star Wars music. You feel like instantly your brain associates everything with it, and that music plays, and your heart and your soul is ready to watch that story in a galaxy far, far away. And it really feels odd when, like, I sit down to watch Rogue One, and just this title comes up, and again, I'm perfectly good music. I'm just saying it ain't Star Wars. And I remember a lot of people, when Rogue One came out, shared that same sentiment. It's like, come on, this is dumb that you're not using the Star Wars music. Yes, it's not the episodic numbers, but this is still Star Wars. It's that universe. Why are you using this? And the people making Game of Thrones House of the Dragon apparently learned that lesson and said, you know what, you're right. We're going back to Westeros. This is the Iron Throne story. We're talking about this world. Let's use that iconic music. And to hear people complain that they use that music, it's like, did you not remember what happened when Rogue One came out and we all complained that they didn't play the Star Wars music? Here they are playing the music that we want them to play, and still some people complaining. Listen, it's all subjective. Maybe you wanted to hear an original piece of music, whatever. But to me, it was absolutely the right choice to stick with that music, because that music starts to play. And like in Star Wars, I'm being whisked to a galaxy far, far away. Here, I'm being whisked away to the 7 kingdoms. And it just puts my whole mind in the right mindset of playing. I love that they did it. So that's just my take on it. Anyway, Chris, you had a chance to see the new episode, House of the
Yeah.
Dragon. Number one, what did you think about the episode in general? Number two, what do you think about the choice to actually use that music?
I had to rewatch it this morning because I tried watching it after I celebrated my birthday. And
Oh, that's not a good idea.
it was like, I can't focus on
Miss
this.
Denicio wasn't able to process it. all
No,
that
she's
well?
like, this is a lot of people I don't know. But this morning when I watched it, I loved it. I think the music in here is great. The opening sequence is so cool too.
Oh,
with
yeah,
the
with the
blood.
blood.
Cool.
Oh, it's great. We've talked before about this too of brand identity for this show. It's Game of Thrones still. It's still that story. It's a continuation of this, right? We're giving a tasty little prequel to what we saw before. So I don't know why you wouldn't want those notes in there. And when they play with the theme and they kind of invert some of the notes and do things in minor chords and stuff too, it's great. People want to complain about really weird things. I feel like that's so nitpicky.
Anyway, Rob, you've number one, general impression of the episode, and then what do you think about the choice to go with the Game of Thrones music?
Dude, first of all, I love this episode. And like you, there's a confrontation in the episode, and I got really tense.
Oh my
I
God,
was
yeah.
waiting. I'm like, what is going to happen here? Because it looked like nothing good. But you know what? What I thought was going to happen didn't happen. Something different happened. And I was like you. I'm like, that was awesome. And I really think that, like you pointed out, there are 9 movies with the Star Wars theme. And the Star Wars theme begins, and then each one of those movies, the music after the theme goes off into different directions. And with this, the Game of Thrones theme over the opening credit sequence, there's a lot of great new music throughout this episode. Really beautiful stuff that isn't reuse. And like you, I don't understand, like maybe if you did it like the Solo movie, shouldn't necessarily have the Star Wars theme. But Rogue One absolutely should have had the Star Wars theme because it was playing into the saga, whatever.
And you know what else? As the credits start at the end, as the screen goes black, ba-dum, 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 ba-ba-ba-bum, ba-ba. The same way all the Star Wars episodic
course,
ones
and
end,
they
they use
should-
it at the end. Why not the beginning?
It doesn't make any sense to me. You know, I don't, and also I don't understand why they don't use crawls. You know, the crawl came
I
from the whole.
agree so much.
And you know, they even did that in video games and comics
Yep.
and all that. They would start with. So it was, to me, it's like you said, it's absolutely the right choice. And what was so interesting was I had heard that they were going to use the music, but then it was this opening credit sequence that does something totally different. You know, the blood in the streets. And I'm like, wow. And then there was one point where I think they dropped underwater. Like, and I was like, wait, what? You know, and
Yeah.
it was, so I'm trying to figure out, like, what does it all mean? Because it took me a couple of episodes to figure out, oh, they're showing where in the original Game of Thrones, where this episode's going to take place. You know, so I haven't quite figured out, like, what are they showing us right now? And I thought it was great. And hearing that, like you said, that is the story of Westeros. And if they do a Jon Snow thing, I mean, I think every Game of Thrones, it's going to be not the music, which we know is going to be the same. It's what are they going to do with the opening credits sequence?
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's not a reuse. They reorchestrated the theme. It's not the exact same theme. They've reorchestrated.
There's a choir element to it as well, like a
The
vocal
drums were
element.
heavier too.
Yeah,
It had,
I
like,
mean, it was
those bass
awesome.
drums.
And I don't understand. Look, God bless everybody on the internet, but sometimes there are decidedly wrong takes. And I think not using the game to say, well, why didn't they give us a new theme? I think that is a wrong take.
You know what would have happened if they used the new theme? You
A
know
lot
what
of
would have happened.
complaining
Oh, yeah.
that they
They
didn't
would
go back to
have
music.
said, not as good as the original.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'll be honest. I probably would have been one of them. I would have said not the most important thing, but yeah, I don't like. I just love they play that as soon as that starts. Like again, my whole
Yeah.
mind. Is
It
just
brought
like,
us back
I'm
to
taken
that.
There.
Do you know what I would
Yes.
Do you know what I would say that you brought up? What I love about this show, even though we've only seen 2 episodes, is it feels like it belongs in the Game of Thrones universe.
Yes.
It feels it's a new story. I'm really invested in all the characters, the different lands, you know, how we're dealing with old Valyrian bloodlines coming together. There's enough new here about this familiar universe that I'm really enjoying. It's not just a copy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the I mean,
not
I
a
love
Xerox.
these characters.
How cool is the sea snake? How cool is he?
He's
Cool.
badass, man. I love that guy, and his whole history is really badass too. And I'm really enjoying this show, and I think that having as the dude would say the dude Jeff Bridges in
The Big Lebowski.
The Big Lebowski, the theme really ties the room together.
Really does. And yeah, it's true. We are only 2 episodes in, or the equivalent of 7 Disney Plus show episodes. But hey, it is what it is. Guys, questions for you. Did you have a chance to watch the 2nd episode of House of the Dragon? If so, what did you think in a non-spoiler way? And don't forget, today at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, that's 6 p.m. East Coast time, we will be doing our House of the Dragon after show, all open spoiler discussion. Come on by and join us for that discussion. We're looking forward to it. All right, guys. With that down, let's move into our 5th and final main topic today. Chris, what is our 5th main topic today?
This is from Aaron. Hey, John. I'm reading some reports going around that Marvel will finally announce the cast of Fantastic Four at D23 next week. We've seen a lot of names thrown around for all the roles, and I don't know if I believe any of them. Question. Do you think they're actually going to announce the Fantastic Four cast at D23? And who you think actually ends up getting the roles? Thanks.
All right. Well, as far as that last part, you know me, I don't do X actor and X role things. We'll see who it's going to be. Now, yes, you're right. There has been a lot of speculation and reports going around. I can recall ever since late June that they were going to announce the cast at D23. Now, there are 100 of these types of things that get whispered and rumored, and we don't talk about them on the show because, until 99% of the time they turn out not to be true. But once in a while, I'll have heard the same thing from my own sources, and I'll bring it up. And one of those things is that they're going to announce the Fantastic Four cast this week. The mystery of it is going to be done by the end of next week, and that'll be after D23. Now, again, I hear some rumblings and things like that from my own sources, and about 90% of the time I don't talk about them on the show because I don't necessarily think they're real or going to come to pass. But combined with all the reports that are out there, plus that I've heard from a few birds myself, that they're going to announce at D23 that it's going to happen. I cannot give you a guarantee that that's true. I simply can't. I don't even know myself for sure that that's true. But all signs do seem to be pointing to that. And the fact that there's a proliferation of new reports coming out about it. Now, one thing I want to throw out there's been a big thing going around the last 24 hours or so that the guy from
Penn Badgley,
yes, is going to be the guy, because some Hollywood insider came out and said that he was the one. Not true. 100% not true. People are misquoting what that guy said, what that Hollywood insider said. If you actually read the words that the guy said, he was just basically pulled that name out as one of the speculations. And then this person got on their own social media to clarify that they were just speculating themselves. By the way, could very well end up being Penn. I mean, it could be, but this report going around, all these headlines you're seeing this morning that reportedly he's the one who's in talks, that's everybody misinterpreting what the guy said. Semantics matter. Okay, that being said, dude, we have been saying for a long time that I think at D23, which you and I will be at, Chris isn't going to be there.
No.
Because like Westeros, no girls on the
No
throne.
women.
No women. No, for whatever reason, Chris isn't going to be able to be there. But you and I will be there. And we've been saying for a while that whatever you think about what they announced at Comic-Con was exactly what we thought it was going to be. They were going to talk about existing projects that we already know about. We'll probably get some dates. We'll probably get some trailers. And we did. And it was great. It was wonderful. But we said the bombs are coming at D23. Because the last D23 is when bomb Moon Knight, bomb She-Hulk, bomb Miss Marvel, bomb Obi-Wan, on after the other. It was just like 60 minutes of like sensory overload with all this stuff. And now they've had a few years of pent up info that they're getting ready to, I think, to splooch all over everybody in that Anaheim hall. So, and it's coming. It's coming.
I guess so.
Be ready for that D23 money shot.
Chapek's going to be like, I'm about to reveal the 3 new cotton candy flavors at California Disney.
Bomb! After bomb. And here's the funny thing. So, do I think the Fantastic Four cast announcement is going to be one of those bombs? I do. I actually really, really do. Again, I don't take it that John Campea has confirmed that they are. I'm just telling you, I really think they are going to do that. So we will see when we get there. Here's the funny thing, though. They're going to announce the Fantastic Four cast, I believe. And I don't think it's going to be the number one or the number two biggest news that comes out of D23. I don't even think it's going to be the number one or the number two biggest piece of news. I think such huge things are coming. John, you're kind of setting yourself up with really high expectations. Oh, I know that I am. I know that. But after my last experience, I really think that is. Now, look, could John Krasinski come walking out on stage? Yep, he could. But I think Kevin Feige's comments about the great thing about Doctor Strange 2 was that they were able to just give a quick fan service thing and have him play Reed Richards there. I think that kind of pointed that we weren't getting them, even though there have been periods of time that I really thought it was going to be him, but doesn't look like it. Maybe it's this pen guy from You. Maybe it's Denzel Washington. I mean, I don't know. We'll find out, but I think Shackman's coming out there. They'll definitely establish him as the director, and then I think the whole cast is going to come out. I think we'll even get some new title treatment. This is the one we've had for 2 years now that's up here on the monitor now, but I think we'll probably get new title treatment. And you'll get the cast talking about how this has been a dream of ours forever to play the first family of Marvel. Of course, it'll be all lies, but still, they're going to say the right things. A dream my whole life to play the first family of Marvel. And it's going to be exciting. Anyway, Rob, are you expecting that we will hear the actual cast for Fantastic Four at D23, or do you think that's something you're going to push off till later? And do you have any theories that you want to share about who could come walking out on that stage?
Well, first of all, I think you're right. They're absolutely going to tell us who they have to make this movie.
Sploosh.
I mean, they've announced it. I mean, they got to get started. And remember, this movie's been in active development for a long time. The Disney, their visual design department has been working on this film. Obviously, we look at, there's a Fantastic Four costume right there. They have been working on this for such a long period of time that it's time. And now they have to make the movie. And the fact that Matt Shackman dropped out of Star Trek 4, he dropped out
That's
because
as much confirmation as anything.
Yeah, you don't drop out of something if you don't have another job waiting for you. And I was really looking forward to Matt Shackman doing Star Trek 4, to be clear. And I think we're going to see the cast. We're going to see the director. They're going to confirm all of that. In terms of who it's going to be, I have to tell you, I have no idea, because it's not just one actor, it's 4 actors.
Yeah.
And so, whoever is Reed Richards will define who Sue Storm is, will define who Johnny Storm is, and then Ben Grimm can be anybody. But I have honestly, I have no idea. I have no idea, but I do think that, I do think that this is going to be the wrap-up film for Marvel Phase 4, or it goes into Phase 5. This is a really important movie for them. They're introducing the first family of Marvel, where 30 will be, more than 30 films in at this point. This is going to be a keystone of the MCU moving forward. So whatever we're going to get, I think it's going to be pretty exciting, and it's going to point the direction that the MCU is going to be going for the next 5 years.
I'll tell you what, at D23, here's what I think the order of things is going to be. They're going to announce Matt Shackman. It's official. He comes walking on stage. They're going to announce Ben Grimm and the actor, and that actor will come out on stage. They're going to announce Johnny Storm and the actor, and that actor will come out on stage. They're going to announce Sue Storm, and that actress will come out on stage. They're going to name Reed Richards, and that actor will come out on stage. And then they're going to say, we got one more thing for you. Victor. And they're going to announce who's playing Doctor Doom. Now, I don't think Doctor Doom is going to be the antagonist of the first Fantastic Four movie. But I think at that announcement, they're also going to give us Doctor Doom. Who's going to be playing it? Who will become Doctor
I think you're right. And they might go even further. Someone's got to play Galactus.
Do they? Do you think they have to go surprise Galactus?
I think Galactus, I don't think they will announce these together, but they might. And I wouldn't be surprised, John. You talk about bombs. They're going to announce
But you
X-Men.
don't need an actor for Galactus. He's a big cloud.
No,
He's just
it's
a
not
big.
that. You got to have
space cloud.
it's just like Ultron.
This is why I'm not going to D23, you guys. I don't want. Oh God, Marvel darted me.
No, space cloud.
Chris is
No.
Galactus.
Galactus is going to be an actor. Just like Thanos.
I totally believe that. Yes,
Yeah,
I
it's gonna be
agree
an
with you
actor.
on that. Yes.
So but I don't know if they're going to announce Galactus then. But if they did, that'd be cool.
You can't do Galactus in your
Yeah,
first
do it,
Fantastic
Rob.
Four movie, though, can you?
At the very
You
end.
can't do like Doom. You got to do like a Doom first. don't you?
Well, I would say that maybe Galactus gets introduced before, because they're dealing with the Celestials and all kinds of craziness. Galactus might be introduced before they introduce the Fantastic Four in terms of the MCU timeline.
I don't know. I feel like we've had conversations about Galactus for about 4 years now, and I don't know if now's the time. But again, bombs. coming, and maybe that's one of them. Anyway, Chris, what do you think about all this? Do you think they will actually announce the cast of Fantastic Four at D23? And then you got any speculation who that could be?
Of course they will. They're going to give everyone ponies, and it's going to be magical, and I'm not going to be there.
You get a pony, and you get a pony. I remember my last time at D23, they handed out Disney Plus hats.
Yeah. This is so much worse than when I was there and couldn't get into anything. This sucks.
I forgot about that.
It was really nice because we had a really nice dinner and I got to hang out with Anne.
Yeah, and me, Logan, and Ann, we went to that French bistro place in downtown Disney.
And Logan had a great time because he was just at a pool the whole time.
Why couldn't you get in though again? Because we arranged for you to have a pass.
Yeah, I had a pass, and then they were like, "These aren't press credentials," and I was like, "Cool." But I'm pressed, and they're like, "No, you're not." Like, okay,
no.
well,
I'll just FaceTime
so I just hung
you
around.
and hold up my phone.
Rude.
Be like you're there.
Rude.
It'd be the same thing.
It's
like-
gonna be magical. Everyone who's in it is gonna get to have a cameo in a Marvel movie. They're gonna announce everything. You guys are gonna have a great
I
time.
gotta ask Ray.
No.
Ray, any big predictions
Pain.
going into it? Something big you want to see them talking about?
I want them to show footage of this Wolverine game. Nothing movie related. I mean,
they won't,
I would
though.
I would love for them to talk about the next Wolverine. I don't know. But other than that, I have
any games.
Daniel Radcliffe's gonna
Yeah,
come out with his
I have
accordion and be
nothing.
like, "Snick it, I'm Wolverine."
I have nothing. Maybe they'll do Star Wars news too, right? We're
Oh
all
yeah,
in
yeah.
this-
So the Saturday afternoon panel that is at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Saturday. It's 2 hours, and it is Fox Films, Star Wars, Marvel, in 2 hours. So they're gonna have to move at a pretty good pace.
Do you think they'll start doing like a Star Wars slate, like Feige does with Marvel? Like, because they're getting the Star
You
Wars
mean the chart?
Yeah, like the
like a timeline?
yeah. Do you think they'll start doing that?
I don't think so. I mean, they don't have enough stuff coming.
They don't?
And here's the other thing, though, too, is there is no Marvel Con. Despite what they may have said in Ms. Marvel, there is no Avengers Con. And Star Wars does have its own thing, right?
Oh, right.
They've got Star Wars Celebration, and we just got off of Star Wars Celebration.
True,
We've got another one coming up next year that I'm still trying to figure out a way that we can actually fly to London and go to it ourselves, which would be fun because I've never been to London. It would be pretty cool to do that. But I mean, Marvel doesn't have anything else. So I'm not actually expecting, I'm expecting one or two big pieces of Star Wars news. I think the rest of it's all really going to be focused on
The Emperor is back somehow, and he's created Galactus.
somehow the Emperor's back and is creating Galactus. Unknown how, just go with it. I mean, that was,
He's been making clones. It's totally cool. You don't need to know about it.
you don't need to know. That's all we need
We're
to say.
gonna have a sliding scroll.
Boy.
Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about all this? Do you believe that we are going to get, finally, next week, the announcement of the cast of Fantastic Four? I think we are. It's not 100% guaranteed, so I don't know. Let's see. Do you have some speculation about who it might be? Maybe it is Penn. Who knows? Maybe it is Krasinski. Never know. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Okay, guys, we are now going to open up the super chats because it's time for us to hear from you guys. We're going to take the rest of the show now and just take your comments, thoughts, opinions, theories, and questions and address them in the second half of the show. But before we do, we want to thank another sponsor of today's episode. They already did the hotline, our friends and my service provider at Mint Mobile. We want to take a second and thank the sponsor of this video, Mint Mobile. After years of fine print contracts and getting ripped off by big wireless providers, if we've learned anything, it's that there's always a catch. So when I first heard that Mint Mobile offers premium wireless starting at just $15 a month, I thought, what's the catch? But after talking to them and using their service, it all made sense. There isn't one. Mint Mobile's secret sauce is that they're the first company to sell wireless service online only. They cut out the cost of the retail stores and pass those sweet savings directly to you. And guys, I have been using Mint Mobile for months now, and I could not be more thrilled with the service. I also couldn't be more thrilled with the fact that my phone bill now is literally 1/3 of what it used to be with my previous major carrier. All plans come with unlimited talk and text, plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and keep your same phone number along with your existing contacts. Switch to Mint Mobile and get premium wireless service starting at just $15 a month. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and get the plan shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/Campea. That's mintmobile.com/Campea. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/Campea. And thank you to Ryan Reynolds and his company, Mint Mobile, for being such a major sponsor of the John Campea Show. All right, guys, it's now time for us to hear from you. So we're going to get things started off first with our beloved channel members. Ray, what do we got?
All right, we got one from Chase. He says, "Hi, John and crew. Regal on Saturday, September 3 is doing National Cinema Day. $3 movies. Sign me up. I don't know if it's just Regal or all theaters."
Yeah, I heard a bunch of theater chains are going to have like a $3 movie day, which I think is a great idea. Got to get people back in the theaters, especially right now when there's no freaking movies coming out, except for the smaller ones. You know, of course, we had The Invitation came out, 3,000 Years of Longing. Is it 3, 4, or 5? I can't remember. I think
3,000, you're right.
3,000 Years of Longing, stuff like that. So they got to get people back in
Longing
there. It's
for
a great
box
idea.
office.
All right, what's next?
Okay, Black Bono Lala says, "Hey guys, what should Netflix do to make their original movies better? And John and Rob, why not be their PR for Netflix?"
Okay, so look, what do you have to do to make your movies better? make better movies. I mean, first of all, cut down how many you're trying to make. Focus more on the better ones. Bring in some smarter studio people that can identify some of the stuff. But again, it's like asking anybody, how can Warner Brothers make better movies? How can Marvel make better movies? How can Paramount make better movies? It's not easy making good movies, man. All right, what's next?
They need to check out Samaritan. Netflix needs to use that for example. Okay, the antagonistic anonymous says, "The love for Fantastic Four is about to be at an all-time high at D23. A cast announcement for the film as well as Marvel next AAA game reportedly being Fantastic Four. It's about to be insane for Fantastic Four."
Yeah, I just don't see them doing anything, especially at the big thing that we're going. I don't think there's going to be any talk of video games at this thing. That's not to say there couldn't be any video game talk at the whole long weekend coming out of something else, but we'll see. All right, what's next?
Irene Jobson writes, "Most look forward to theatrical release for the rest of 2022."
People have asked me that a lot lately. I don't keep movie dates in my head. I can't even remember which ones are coming. Like, I know Black Panther's coming out this year.
Is Woman King coming out this year?
Yes,
Oh,
coming out
yeah.
really soon.
That looks great.
That looks great. I just can't remember which movies are coming out. So this year, because I'm terrible with release dates. So for now, I'll say, well, Black Panther's coming up soon. Super excited about that. All right, what's next?
Orlando Orrego writes, "Hey, John and crew, I can't wait for next week. We got so many shows, and I feel you guys will be busy. Bring on the filthy."
By the way, also, I think coming out in September. Okay, so we're going to have running House of the Dragon, She-Hulk, Andor at some point here, the Lord of the Rings show, Handmaid's Tale starts up in a couple of weeks.
Yes.
And there was another big one also starting up. Oh, Yellowstone. Freaking Yellowstone's coming back up soon. Oh, we're going to be doing that, I'm sure.
And
Oh my
So
God.
I finished Only Murders in the Building finally this weekend,
Woo!
and I ended up getting subscribing to like the $4 Peacock version, and so I think my next binge is in starting up series is going to be Yellowstone.
Yeah, get on that. I personally think it's the best show on television. I cannot wait. They just dropped a new 15-second teaser, the first teaser for the new season. It's like, I can't wait to go back there. All right, what's next?
Sam Fisher writes, "My big Netflix story is that at 7, I wanted to rent Star Wars Attack of the Clones. I tried to do it myself and accidentally bought it, not rented it, and my parents were pissed. Happy birthday, Netflix."
Happy birthday to Netflix, indeed. Again, 25 years that they've been doing. It's just the fact that this is a company that has been able to do major pivots along the way. A lot of companies don't know how to do that. I mean, look at Kodak as an example. Like, as a company that was just dominant in what they did, but weren't able to successfully pivot to the changing technology. And Netflix has continuously found a way to do that. So kudos to them for that. All right, what's
Okay,
next?
Ben Rayner writes, "Hi, John and crew, and Ray and Jonathan. Would you say Game of Thrones theme is as iconic as Star Wars opening now?"
No.
I would, just as epic to me.
Not in the world, but to
No.
the series, yes. To its own series, it's as important.
I mean, yeah, it's absolutely as important, but you're talking about a Star Wars theme that has literally been around for almost 4 generations of people. Like me, my parents, my grandparents, and if I had kids today, my kids, we're all grown up with that. Game of Thrones has been around for about a decade. And it's super and it's awesome. I love that theme, but I wouldn't say it's there yet.
Star Wars seems 45 years old this year.
It's crazy.
I'm telling
45 years old.
I'm going to go see John Williams perform it next weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, yeah. What day are you going? I'm going Sunday.
I think I'm going to aim for the Saturday, but I got to check the weather report. Because
Yeah.
if
Oh,
it's
it's
going to be like
gonna be-
105
oh,
degrees there, I ain't
Yeah,
going.
it's going to be so
He's
hot.
actually coming to my house and just
the way to
That's
do
really
it.
cool that
That's
you
how
and John
do it.
Williams are so tight.
But you know what? The
Are you
Game of
cooking for him?
Thrones theme, this is my first exposure really to this theme. It's everything to me.
It's
when
so
it
good.
hit right in the beginning of episode 2, I was like, this song is everything to me right now.
Here's an example. Ann and I in Burbank, there used to be a fabulous restaurant called Market City Cafe right beside the AMC Burbank 16. And Ann and I used to go to brunch there on Sundays.
Is it gone?
It's gone.
It's gone.
It's like
It's
a
been replaced
microbrewery
with,
now.
Yeah, with a brewery. A pretty good place, by the way. But yeah, I miss Market City. But we would go there on lunches because they had these great charcuterie platters for lunch, and it was just great. But also on Sundays, they would have this 4-piece quartet playing classical music. And we kind of like listening to them. And every weekend, without fail, they'd be playing all this classical music. And at some point, they would start playing. Bum, 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 bum,
I missed
bum.
it.
And at that moment, everybody in the restaurant, yeah, da, 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 and the whole place would go. I mean, it's a big iconic piece of music.
I love how Ray is like, this is your favorite.
Yeah,
and you
I
have
wanna-
not even seen Game of Thrones.
No.
No.
Just the first 4 episodes, but the song hasn't stuck with me like it's sticking
Yeah,
with
why
me
suddenly
right now.
do you like it so much? It's just got you
Because,
in the-
dude, the boom when it comes in on this episode 2 is like, it just starts off like so strong, and I'm like, yeah, let's go. Like before not even seeing anything happen to the episode, it just gets me so hype. I love this theme. It's
so
really
it
good.
brings the boom.
All right, what's
so
next?
we got 3 more. Bilbo writes, question regarding the origins of Magneto and upcoming X-Men movie. People keep looking to real life atrocities. Why can't Marvel just make one up?
They can, but within the context of history in the world, they do tend to try to stick with it. Like when they're even, they're talking about certain things that happen in the World War. Well, the World Wars happen. So they do kind of try to use that as their springboard, like one foot in reality with the other foot in fantasy. So, and also if you as an individual, this is the brilliance of the opening of the first X-Men film. We as an audience will empathize with it much more if it's something we know about. Like when maybe they, in the first X-Men movie, they maybe don't make it a concentration camp. And they make it some make-believe thing. But the thing is that we all know about concentration camps. And we all know the horrors. I mean, we didn't experience them, thankfully. But we know about, at least intellectually, the horrors that happen there. And then to see a character in that, it has bigger emotional impact as an audience member than say, 25 years ago in the country of blah, 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 the Kazuki took over and were really mean to their people. And we see young Magneto being abused by the Kazuki. It doesn't have the same impact. You do like the Rwandan genocide, or you do something like that. We instantly feel more empathy for it, I think. So I think that's going to be important.
The Kazuki.
The Kazuki.
Cincinnati's 5-star barber writes, Sup, my beloved Campea fam. So Saturday evening, relaxing, sipping on Jameson and smoking the dinky nugs. I watched Welcome to Wrexham after being disappointed by Samaritan. So good, and I love it. Football's back. Who dey?
Listen, I'll tell you what. Again, we talked on the other day of the show. I didn't want to talk about because I didn't want people to think I'm too. Look, obviously Reynolds is I'm a huge fan of Ryan Reynolds, and they're obviously a big sponsor of the show. So I wasn't going to talk about Wrexham because I don't want it to seem too homerish. But then I saw the first 2 episodes. I'm like, damn, this is good. Because I don't care about soccer. I mean, I wish you did. It's the number 1 most popular sport in the world. But watching that, I started to care. Like, oh my God, am I turning into it? I know everybody around the world, everybody's saying, it's called football, John. Well, here it's called soccer. So, that's what we're going to call it here.
And actually in England, it got its start. Oh.
A little bit of throwback then last week. Yeah, man, it's incredibly impressive. I really like this for. I can't wait for episode 3.
Okay, Dante Sarakia writes. So,
Whatever.
I'm sorry.
okay. Post game day. God, I love this show. I'm so happy to be here every day. I love all of you, even you, Tyler. I think he meant Taylor. I'm loving House of the Dragon so far. Guys, have you watched the latest What We Do in the Shadows? Bring on the filter.
I am still not caught up on What We Do in the Shadows. I still have I still haven't seen the last episode, and I still have not seen the last episode of Harley Quinn. So because we've been watching a lot of stuff and doing a lot of stuff. So Anne like reminded me last night we were off on like we go for these late night walks, and she's like, we still haven't seen Harley Quinn and Woman in the Shadows. I'm like, oh my God, we still got to get caught up in that. So not yet, but I'm looking forward to it.
You'll like this last one, John. Jedediah Elias writes, John, you wonderful human being, had Pizza Hut mozzarella sticks
There we go. And
with sour cream yesterday
yes, sir.
and loved it.
Yep.
As Korg once said in Ragnarok, the revolution has begun.
I'm telling you, the good word has spread. The people
Not
are
all
now-
things that spread are good, John. Chlamydia.
the evangelists, the evangelists are going forth now, spreading the good word. You will never go back. That's the thing. Once you do it once, you will never go back. Once you try it once, next time you're in a restaurant and you order mozz sticks, you'll be saying to the waitress, could I please get sour cream instead of marinara? And they'll say, absolutely. That's a big trend now. What's got people doing that?
No way.
No, they will. Everybody's going to do it. Mark my words.
Man, you have some dreams.
All
Look at
right.
you.
With that down, let's get over now to the super chats here. So what do we got in the super chats?
From Elmist, Rogue One was so good IMAX, especially the final space battle over Scarif. Scarif. The final 25 minutes of this movie is peak Star Wars, in my opinion.
Here's the thing. Watching it again, I'm very different. A lot of my friends love Rogue One, but I'm different. I actually prefer the first half of the movie. Don't get me wrong. The space battle over Scarif is fantastic.
It's incredible.
And seeing like, okay, yeah, the Princess Leia at the end with the Uncanny Valley a little bit there. Yeah, but oh my God, the original Gold Leader and all that stuff. It's fantastic. But I actually prefer the first half of the film. Like just resetting up the world and the underground of the rebellion. I love this movie. Love it. I think it's still playing for a couple of days. If you get a chance to go see Rogue One on the big screen again, go watch it.
I even loved how it incorporated some rebels in there because it had those hammerhead ships and everything.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's a
Well, and this even over the PA system, you hear them calling General Syndulla, report to the whatever. It's like, I know General Syndulla.
no, it's so good. I just wish, John, I wish that it was a half an hour longer in the beginning, and you got to see all of our characters at their various places, like when the Empire came into the Kyber crystal factories in Jeddah and watching the two. But you hear about it.
Yeah.
But I could have watched that movie for a half an hour more because it's so good.
All right, what's next?
Well, not only are there 6 of these, but they're in reverse order, so I don't know how you want to handle it.
Oh, all right.
So do you want to wait till we get to 1 and then go down?
Okay, guys.
Later on?
Give me my one shot here. Guys, listen, as much as I love the enthusiasm, believe me, I do. Writing 4, 5, 6, 7 part things is not conducive to what we're doing. So we'll let's see what we can see if you can find the first one if you can.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking maybe when we get to the first one, then we can take the elevator down.
Let's try that. Okay, so let's just move on from it.
All right.
Okay.
We'll be back. We will not leave
We'll
you.
find you doing. Dr. Bright, do y'all ever get burnt out from doing the show?
I honestly listen, you do anything, no matter how great and how fun, you're gonna get a little bit fatigued. And so, yeah, that's why it's important that I tried, remember, I used to do the show 7 days a week. I used to do shows on Saturdays and Sundays as well. And it was basically Ann that was like, no, you're not going to do that anymore. And so stopped. That's why when somebody brought up on the show a couple of weeks ago, hey, John, have you thought about putting together a show for the weekends? I'm like, fuck, no. I did that before, not doing it again. But yeah, I mean, so yeah, that can happen. But you know what? It's the harder part of the show is not doing the show. It's the prep that goes into the show. That's the part that really takes up most of the energy, brain cells. But doing the show is a lot of fun, and we get to sit here and talk about our favorite things in the world, and yeah, it's great.
And that's what Aviation Gin's for.
Yeah.
Yes, keeps us going.
Oh, I have the scotch in my car too.
Oh my God!
I
you
have the
bring
Game
the
of Thrones scotch.
For the after
show?
Yeah. Oh man.
Or the after show.
Pats,
All right.
Chris, you're so great. Shit.
Actually,
You
so
brought us a birthday present.
the 6 of 6 was the final part of last week's
Yes.
6, so we can
Oh,
actually
okay.
read that.
Yeah. So Juwan William couldn't get this in last week. The core message in Everything Everywhere All at Once derives from a lay in the central text of Chinese Buddhism, Atmaska Sutra, a word in every flower, a Buddha on each leaf.
Wow, I didn't know
There
that.
you go.
I had
That's
no
very
idea
pretty.
about that.
I like that.
All I know is that it's the best movie of the year. Again, I'm blown away by it. There's also a scene with two rocks talking to each other. That is just like,
What?
How do you come up with this? Like you're saying,
I sobbed when they were talking, and I was like, "What is this movie?"
yeah, it's brilliant filmmaking. You gotta see it. All right,
So
what's
good.
next?
From Alex Mata, my favorite memory of Blockbuster was my dad taking me to rent Donkey Kong Country for the Wii every week. Oh, your dad's awesome.
I never did rent video games. My
My
brother
brother
there's
always
anything wrong
did.
with it.
I used to.
But I mean, it was the ultimate, like before my wife Ann has this great shirt. It just says at the top in small letters, I'm OG. And underneath it says Blockbuster and chill. But it was true. Like in my like teenage and like just very early 20s was like the date night was, grabbing dinner, a date night when you were poor, you could grab dinner and then you go to Blockbuster together and like picking out a movie together was part of the process. And then going back to your place and watching the movie.
It was such a good way to figure out if your date was a dud.
Yes.
Man.
Yes. Where did they gravitate to? If they instantly gravitated
Like
to that dark
physically,
room in the
like-
back corner, you knew you had a winner. But no, I mean, it's like, where are they going to look at? It's like, no, this is not going to go well. This date is not going well. All right, what's next?
From a fan of Peanuts. Some support. Thank
you, fan of Peanuts.
From Sam Fisher. Rob, I'm surprised you didn't go to Las Vegas for the Star Trek con this weekend. Looked like a bunch of fun.
Well, I've been there a lot. I just didn't go this year.
I'm going to guess that our friend Scott Mance was there.
He was there.
He was probably emceeing a bunch
He
of
was
it.
there with my fellow Inglorious Trexperts. They were having a good old time.
All right, what's next?
From,
Well,
did we do Sam Fisher already? Oh, yes, we did.
Yes.
Michael Crowson. After 21 years and watching it countless times, I finally watched Fellowship of the Ring for the first time in the cinema and in IMAX.
Wow.
Woo!
Again, there's nothing equals it. Nothing equals the actual in theater. Again, I've seen Rogue One a number of times at home, but watching it again in a theater with an audience, it just nothing comes close. You can have your piece of garbage 120-inch little home theater thing like I got now. It doesn't matter. It's nothing compared to the real theater with a real audience and experiencing like that. And I'm so jealous you got to watch it for the first time on the big screen like that. That is awesome. All right, what's next?
From Mike's Movie Madness. I don't know what everyone else was mad about. When the Game of Thrones theme started playing, I was standing up with my hand over my heart like it was the gosh darn national anthem. Yeah.
Right, I mean, Chris, like that music plays, you start to feel something,
Yes.
right?
Everyone when we all watched it, we and my friends like Nate and Cullen, we all just, instead of doing the Wiener song, we say fucking Game of Thrones, the whole time. And so you shout it back at the screen and you cheers your scotch and it's a whole thing.
Cheers to scotch. Yeah, that's what everybody does.
That's what
right?
everyone does when they watch this, right? With their families.
yes.
With
give-
their
I do.
families.
You give the kids some
Of course,
scotch.
Chris.
Yeah.
All right,
Aw,
what's
man,
next?
all those nerds got the throner boner when that song came on.
Yeah. From Andy. I'm surprised by how often people forget that Netflix was originally a DVD rental service. Now it's got a blockbuster TV show coming out on its service.
I know, like the definition of irony here. And by the way, did you see the first image came out for the Blockbuster series?
No.
It's got, I keep forgetting what Asian Jim's real name is.
Randall Park.
Randall Park,
He's-
who is awesome. So he's like one of the stars of it. I cannot wait to see this. It looks like it could be a great kind of like Office or Parks and Rec sort of situation, but at Blockbuster, I'd be totally down with it. All right, what's next?
From Al Renshaw. Hey, Rob, thoughts on Blackpink winning at the recent VMAs? Don't be ashamed to like their music.
Dude, did you see that performance? My God, did I feel like a dirty old man watching it. Wow, they were incredible.
You know what? You know what my favorite part of the performance was actually? I wouldn't know because I'm over 12. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm just having fun.
It was
all
quite-
the Blackpink fans don't get mad at me. I'm just
Keyboard
kidding.
warrioring right now.
No, it was quite a performance. But yes, I do. I've never ever, I've listened to all kinds of music in my life. This is the first time I feel guilty about liking pop music. I mean, maybe that's just a function of how old I've gotten. Maybe if it when Britney Spears came out for the first time and I'm listening to Toxic going, I love this song.
Well, that's a banger.
I didn't
Yeah.
feel bad
Toxic
about
is
it. I'm
so
watching
good.
her going down the inside of an airplane or whatever, and I'm like, this is great. Now, maybe there's an age limit. Just saying.
All right, what's next?
From Suthius. What master do I serve? What am I supposed to say?
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
Jesus. You're from
Jesus.
Earth? I'm not from Earth. I'm from Missouri. Yeah, that's Earth. What are you hustling us for, dipshit? Love that scene.
That whole
What is
thing.
from?
It's from
Like, who do you? It's
Avengers.
from Infinity War. The conversation when
not remember this
they
line.
meet the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh,
Is it, who like Doctor Strange says, "Who is it you serve?" What am I supposed to say? Jesus? Or something like, it's a great scene. That's where the whole "I'll do one better." Why is Gamora?
Right.
oh yeah.
That whole scene, it's such a good scene. I love that whole sequence. All right, what's next?
From Official Friend Zone, Christian Slater has been cast as the main villain Mulgarath in the Spiderwick Chronicles Disney Plus show. I know you aren't familiar with the books, but are you familiar with him?
I'll tell you what.
Oh yeah.
I totally forgot about this. Ann and I, every once in a while we'll play just Parks and Rec roulette, put on a random episode. We've been doing that more with The Office again lately. And it came up to the one where Sabre takes over Dunder Mifflin. Also, they realize it's actually called Saber, even though they spell it Sabre. And the episode they get taken over by Saber, they're watching a corporate video on welcoming a new acquisition to Saber.
yeah.
And it's hosted by Christian Slater. Hi, everybody. I'm Christian Slater. You just joined the world of Saber. And it's like, oh my God. He's one of the great characters in, it's like my favorite animated show. It's not the best animated show. That's Arcane. The spy animated show.
Archer?
He's one of the guys. Christian Slater is a guy in Archer, which is like, so he gets all over the place. He's popping into Captain Sulu's cabin.
He's
Like
Happy Hard Harry from Pump Up the
Yeah,
Volume. One of the great
love
high
Christian
school
Slater.
characters.
And when I was in high school, all the guys wanted Christian Slater's haircut. Couldn't pull it off though. I've got too many licks
And
and curls
Heather's.
in my hair.
He's so good in Heather.
Check out True Romance.
Oh yeah,
True-
True
yeah.
Romance. That's probably his best one.
Nah.
Nah.
Pump up the volume, baby.
And then he had a TV series that only lasted, I think, one season.
Right.
It was called My Own Worst Enemy.
Yep.
Where he realizes that when he goes to sleep, an alter ego wakes up that is like a super spy, and then that he was oblivious to, and then they become friends by leaving notes for each other.
Me and Chrissy Denizio.
And
I left this water for
and
you.
Mr.
Take these
Robot.
ibuprofen.
It's great on Mr. Robot.
All right, what's next?
From Chef Rigo.
Rigo.
What happens first? Chris eating matzo sticks with sour cream or John borrowing physical media from Rob? Ooh, what a stalemate.
Every once in a while, I'll take the staff out for lunch. The next one, I'm going to mandate, okay, you're going to at least try matzo sticks with sour cream.
And by the way,
That's,
I did buy John a piece of physical media that he has to own. It comes out in October. So you've got the time. The clock is ticking.
That's an
Clock, see,
immovable
maybe we're
force and
making
an
it, but I think,
unstoppable
yeah.
object.
I'll get her hooked on this. You wait.
No.
You wait. All right, what's next?
From Arse Gravy. All right. A big difference between men and women. Oh, I can't wait for you to tell me. We often mean different things when we say that we went through a whole box of tissues watching that movie.
Oh, ba-bam. Oh.
All right, next.
From Jedediah Elias. Really dawned on me when we turned on my Amazon Fire Stick last night, but damn, we are in an embarrassment of riches when it comes to streaming.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much crazy good stuff out there right now, and so much good stuff coming. By the way, I'm so glad somebody brought that up. Like, Handmaid's Tale is not really targeted to the same demographic people that love the Star Wars and Marvel and DC movies. It's not. If you have never watched Handmaid's Tale, it is a show riddled with excellence. It is an excellent, excellent show. And I recommend everybody check it out. So, hey, hop on board, get caught up, go binge, and get ready for the final season here that's coming
And
up.
the Supreme Court is marketing for the latest
It pretty much
season
is.
of Handmaid's
It's
Tale.
like everything that comes out of the government last bunch, it's like one step closer to the world of the Handmaid's Tale.
I'm just taking notes so I can figure out how to become a Martha.
Yeah, I want to
it.
make sure I'm a
That's-
Martha in that
yeah.
world. All right, what's next?
Why did you say that name?
That aviation shot, that's for you.
Aviation
That's you.
shot of the day, ladies and
Well
gentlemen.
done. Well done. From Mr. Old Blue Eyes. Great show today, guys. Bring on the filthy.
Thank you, Mr. Old Blue Eyes. Appreciate Always nice when people want to just write in to say something
That's
nice
very
and
nice.
encouraging. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. What's next?
From James Argenta, big Star Wars news at D23 will be on the Acolyte with
Hopefully.
possible young Sheev Palpatine and Plagueis
Plagueis.
casting.
I don't know about that. Maybe. But I would love to listen when they made all those Star Wars announcements at the Disney Investor Day call. The Acolyte is the one that had my attention the most.
Yeah.
That and Rogue Squadron, but the Acolyte was really one I was really, really excited about. Then you had the Russian Dolls runner to come on board with that, which is great news. Very excited for it, but I need to hear something about it.
By the way, season 2 of Russian Doll is pretty good.
I've never seen a show by it.
I
know
loved
everybody
season
loves
1 and season 2 is good.
it. All right, what's next?
From Sam Fisher, what about Jonathan Frakes for Star Trek 4 director? He has an extensive career as a TV director, like Shackman, and 35 years with the franchise.
And he's directed 2 Star Trek feature films already.
Yeah, that didn't do great.
No, well, First Contact.
Yeah, I mean, at first, a lot of people love it, but again, it didn't do
Insurrection.
great.
If he has a good script.
Yeah, I mean, didn't he also direct like 1 or 2 episodes of The Orville?
I think he did.
I'm pretty positive that he directed. By the way, I finally saw the season finale of The Orville. Not great.
Yeah, it wasn't
It
great.
was actually the weakest episode of
kinda
the season.
quiet.
It was a great season.
Although it was funny when the entire Kalon.
Yes,
Race
that
showed up first
that was funny. That was just, that was the best moment of it actually. All right, what's next?
From Andy, I went to see Rogue One in IMAX and still couldn't help but cry when Princess Leia showed up.
And listen, listen, and I've said this from the first day that I saw it. While there's definitely uncanny valley going on with the deepfake Princess Leia, there was some emotion I heard in the theater when the first, like, it does elicit that a lot, especially around the time. Because of course that's right when Carrie Fisher passed away too. So yeah, it gets you every time. All right, what's next?
From Sam Fisher, I think D23 could see them announce who the next Black Panther will be, whether it's revealed in a new trailer or they just announce it on stage. I don't know.
Again, I don't believe there is a next Black Panther. I think there are going to be multiple people that don the Black Panther outfit. I think they're going to be. I think the first character we see in the Black Panther costume will not necessarily be in it by the time the movie ends. So, and I don't think they're going to outright say who it is. I don't think they're going to do that. All right, but they could. It is possible though. All right, what's next?
From Tuan Williams, 7 of 6. However, this great counterpoint against Jobu's nihilism is slightly diluted by messages of family and love, which I don't consider as valid answers to the question the film poses.
I disagree. I think, look, it's a matter. It actually kind of bandwagons a little bit and hooks it onto the wagon of the idea of the old cliche saying it's not the destination, it's the journey. And while that is an oversimplification of everything they're trying to boil down to, the essence of that is, I think, what they were going for by the end. And I think it played beautifully. It wasn't a direct connection to any existing philosophy, but it was where they found meaning in it by the end. And I thought it worked really, really well in that way. But that's just me.
I think it was the lack of that which drove her anger or, desperation. The feeling of the lack of family.
Yeah, I think so. All right, what's next?
From Ahmed, hey team, could you do a Campea Classroom segment before D23 on what you think will be announced by Marvel Studios and Lucasfilm during D23?
We could,
Or not.
but it would be a completely pulling this out of our asses.
Yeah.
I mean, we'd literally just be making up a lot of shit.
I mean, that's a Tuesday.
That's it. But hey, listen, as fans,
It's more of a Friday
it's fun.
thing.
Yeah.
So maybe we will. Maybe the day before we leave, because I think we're going to leave the Friday to
When
go.
he says we, he means
Me and Rob.
these two right here.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I
Chris.
might
Not
need you
Chris.
to come out, Jonathan, just to hold a camera or something. I'm not going to make you drive to Anaheim.
Actually, the drive to Anaheim is half the distance from here.
Yeah,
So,
it is. It's actually a
Yeah.
pretty easy drive to get there. But I think after Friday's show, the Friday before D23, we'll do Friday's show. We'll head out there for D20. And maybe on that Friday show, we'll do our final big breakdown. Maybe that's the day we'll finally bring out the whiteboard. I mean, I don't know. We'll
Ooh.
figure about it. All right, what's next?
From Jonathan Magoa, as someone who just got diagnosed with ADHD at 22, this Weird Al movie seems like a movie that I need in my life right now.
It looks crazy. I did not think this was going to be the tone of the movie, but now that I've seen this trailer, I am, again, the cigarette putting out his hand things. Trying to picture Weird Al actually doing that is hilarious. All right, what's next?
From Andy, I'm salty that House of the Dragon used the Game of Thrones theme. They effed up because they completely missed the opportunity to play the Wiener song instead. I mean, it can play in your brain.
Well, I
Lives
mean,
rent free in there.
Q
look,
Ray.
obviously
Wiener,
we want to
wiener.
keep the tone of the show right. So the Wiener song, whether you're losing a wiener, because many people do in
That's
the
true.
show, Reek, of course, in the original Game of Thrones. Everyone's got a problem with their wieners in that show. So,
So respectfully,
but
you
yeah,
Yeah.
can think about
Give it up.
Al Renshaw, which team up do you think Jessica Gao could be talking about in episode 4 when she says best in the MCU?
I mean, the Fantastic Four, the best team, the X-Men.
Yeah.
I mean, people are talking about what is she gonna play? I mean, if there's all this,
There's a bunch of stuff.
all these people talking about various things. Look, where's Alpha Flight? Come on, John. Where's Alpha Flight?
They'll
in
never
the
do
MCU?
Alpha Flight. They won't give. Listen, the MCU is now ruled by Canadians. Canadians are there directing their stuff. They're starring in all this stuff, but they will never acknowledge Canada by giving us Alpha Flight. They won't do it.
They're taking our jobs.
Alpha Flight's a very diverse team. You know, you got everybody represented. Why don't we have Alpha Flight? I want them.
Because they will not give Canada its due. They don't want to do it. This, it won't play as well with an American audience. We don't want a Canadian superhero team.
Yeah, you're right.
That's basically how Americans sound to.
It's very true.
Like to America, if you've watched South Park, all Canadians, Canadians talk like this, buddy. But like to us, all Americans are blah, 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 blah. I mean, that's just the way it is. It's the cultural exchange, I suppose. All right, what's next?
From Boston McCullough. Hi, John. Saw Rogue One re-release, and wow, this movie still leaves me speechless. It showed me that Star Wars is meant for the big screen. Felt like Star Wars. Wish they focused more on movies than TV shows.
By the way, Boston, thank you so much. He tipped in like $20. Thank you so much
nice.
for that and supporting our channel at that level, man. Listen, there is, if you go back 5-6 years to like old Jedi Council, you will find clips of me saying, I don't think Star Wars should be done on television. Star Wars is the big screen medium. That's where it is meant to be. That's where it should live. I have softened on that because I've seen Mandalorian and I see you can tell a different kind of story that gets told different ways. The universe is vast and all that kind of stuff. But I still do believe that their main attention should be on their movies. I think that is absolutely where their main attention should be. But again, I have softened more on the television stuff because, well, even though we've had Book of Boba Fett, we still had Mandalorian, and which has been great.
You know what though? The Mandalorian could have made a great big screen movie.
It really could have.
There's enough mythology and there's enough characterization there. They could have taken what they did with the show and turned it into a hell of a
And
film.
Obi-Wan absolutely should have been a movie.
Yes.
It should have been a 2-hour and 15-minute movie, and it could have been great. That fan edit, again, that fan edit blows me away. They did such a good job putting that together. All right, what's next?
From Rob's groupie, Breaking was so good. John Boyega is a damn powerhouse. Oh,
Man,
my
I got to
goodness.
see this. I'm dying to see this movie. It's like his Dog Day Afternoon. Even the trailers, you can tell he just crushed that role. Mm-hmm. Did anyone see that? Taylor, did you see Breaking?
No, I saw 3 movies this weekend, and that was not one of the 3 that I saw. But I want to.
Just Shrek 1 through 3?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Shrek 1 through 3. All right, what's next up?
From Luis Enrique de la Peña, sending in a $25 super chat. Thank you. Feliz cumpleaños, Chris. Thanks. I wish you the best and all the happiness in the world. Had a great birthday last Saturday. My family took me to a Chinese food restaurant, and it was delicious. If you all visit Mexicali one day, I'd like to take you all to a restaurant. Oh, well, happy birthday to you, Luis.
Happy birthday,
Oh my gosh.
Luis. And
Birthday, man.
I don't know what it is. Canadian families, and Luis, I do not believe is Canadian, but events like birthdays or Christmas, we like going to Chinese restaurants. And I don't know why that is. I mean, obviously we love Chinese food, but I mean, I don't know why it became such a cultural thing that we just like on birthdays sometimes, or even we're getting together with family over Christmas. We like going to get to a
Well, if
Chinese
it's Christmas,
buffet.
it's because they're open.
Yeah.
It's 'cause
Well,
you know
that's
Okay.
probably it. That is
Because
probably
we
actually,
Jews too we go to Chinese restaurants on Christmas as well.
that's actually a very, very good point. I'm glad you brought that up. All right, what's next?
From Kid the Specialist. Sup, fam? Do you think Deadpool's Colossus will be the first X-Men in the MCU? Or will DP give some meta reasoning for his absence in the third film?
I got to tell you, I'm so glad you brought this up because there's lots to love about the Deadpool movies. Colossus is one of the big ones. I love that character.
Me too.
He's just so, I mean, and Negasonic Teenage
Warhead.
Warhead, she's great too. And Komiko, her girlfriend, is, hi Wade, she's adorable. I love her. But I mean, that Colossus character is nothing like the Colossus that we got glimpses of in the X-Men films. Nothing like the Colossus the way I envision him in my head in the books. But God, he was a good addition. But I don't think we're going to get that Colossus.
Imagine though the jokes that could be made. if those characters are in the movie when they're talking about being part of the X-Men. Everyone's like, "What?"
I would be so much opportunity, but I don't think they're going to do it. But man, I would love it if they did. All right, what's next?
From Carlos Sosa, and there's only one part for this one. He wrote in, "Hey guys, got tickets to No Way Home this Thursday. Game day. This will be my 6th time seeing it in a theater. My personal record for any film."
When does that re-release come out? Is it this
September 2nd.
weekend, or did it come out
Next
already?
week. No, and that's
September
when they
2nd.
added footage.
It's
Yeah.
this, yeah. So it's this upcoming weekend, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't get interested in re-releases for a movie that was just out weeks ago. And we're literally talking like 16 weeks ago, this 14, 12 weeks ago. I'm not big on those. It's like, ooh, come pay us again. For why? We got 9 extra minutes. Okay, I'll wait to watch those in the
This one
special
has
feed.
more fun stuff, though, John.
Yeah.
Although
They said
But movie
fun
theaters
stuff.
could use it.
I was gonna say the one caveat to that on this is, you know what though, the theaters could use some life injected. Now's actually maybe a good time to do it. So for this circumstance, you know what? I might go myself.
Go to a Regal.
And Ticket
Help 'em
Watch,
out.
part 2.
And Ticket Watch. Spider-Man Ticket Watch. The re-release. AMC crashes again. All right, what's next?
From Al Renshaw, have you ever seen the Deadpool the Musical parody too? It's so funny. I would love to see him try to join the X-Men Avengers, but they all say no.
I have not. That's a fan-made thing on YouTube, if I'm not mistaken, right? So no, I have not. I didn't even know they made a second one, to be honest with you. Have you guys seen it?
No.
No, I'm going to look for it now.
All right, what's next?
From Trevor, Wednesday can't get here soon enough. I want to inject rings of power in my veins. Sorry, Chris. Why are you sorry? Let's go.
I think he's sorry that you're not going. But yeah, I actually
That's fair. I'm watching it from my house.
Ann and I were watching House of the Dragon last night, and I'm like, it's only 3 at the time. 3 days till we get to go watch the Lord of the Rings thing. I am so excited about going to see this. And again, it might be terrible. It might be just awful. There have been plenty of things that I've been super excited to see that I end up not liking. But God, I will never, I'm not going to get political. But give me a moment here. Let me go off on this just for a second. So the last 8 years or so, there's become a pattern culturally for us where if the facts don't align to what your preferred narrative is, just pretend the facts don't exist. That's it. If facts come out, say doctors are lying. If facts come out, say the historians are lying. If facts come out, say the scientists are just lying. If facts come out, no, the election was rigged. Just say it isn't true. The facts, more and more in the last 8, 9, 10 years, become optional for people, right? If facts don't align to your preferred narrative, just make up something to say, well, that's not true. Yeah, it is. No, it's not. Well, no, here it is right there. This is published by a team of scientists. Oh, the scientists are lying. Prove that they're lying. Oh, you don't have to. And it's become, now that's always been a thing, right? That's always, we as human beings will try to reach and stretch to make sure things fit our preferred narrative. We do that. We all do it, and we're all guilty of it from time to time. But in the last 10 years or so, it's become really, really bad. And I get that there are people who don't want the game of the Lord of the Rings show to be good. I get it. Now, why anybody would ever not want a movie or show to be good? Like, I want that to be bad. I'll never understand that. Even things like, I don't care about Blackpink, but I hope their albums are great so people who go to watch them enjoy them, even though I don't care. But I hope those people do.
Hey, I want mozzarella sticks and sour cream
Say it,
to be
Rob.
good. I want it to be good.
But I'll tell you what.
I know
so
it won't be.
We did a story last week about, none of us have seen the Lord of the Rings thing yet. We haven't seen it. But we did a story last week that the first reactions came out, and all the people who went to go see it really liked it. Okay. That doesn't mean you're going to like it. That doesn't mean I'm going to like it. But everybody who saw it decided to like it. Here's the problem. There's a group of people out there who have already decided they want the narrative to be that this show is terrible. They want the narrative to be that this show's terrible. And Again, talk to me Thursday. I might think it's terrible once I see it, but I haven't seen it yet. So as we did this video reporting that all these people who factually saw the shows really enjoyed it, that doesn't match up with the narrative that some of these people want. These people want the narrative to be that the show is terrible. They want it to be that's terrible. So what did they do? Instead of just saying, well, just because they liked it doesn't mean we will. No, what a lot of them did and got on my channel about says, well, then you need to make something up. Oh, well, I don't, okay. All those people who saw it were paid. They were paid by Amazon. That's what it is. Let's just make up shit. Yeah, they were paid. No, they weren't. But you can't accept that they weren't because you have to make up something to force something to fit your narrative. And it is a darkness in the fandom that has grown as it has across our entire culture, right? If something doesn't fit the narrative you want, make up something. And this whole idea that, oh my God, like, listen, you don't have to like something. And you don't need other people to also not like it to justify you not liking it. I just never get that. Like, people are so insecure that, okay, I'm not happy about this situation. Okay, other people are. Well, that discredits that I don't. No, it doesn't. No, take a breath. It doesn't. You're allowed to like or not like whatever you want. And other people feeling the opposite of you does not discredit how you feel. But people are so insecure, they got to go, oh, wait, other people are saying they like this Lord of the Rings show. Oh no. Oh, well, they're paid. They're paid to say that.
That's already been memed.
Fucking imbeciles. Absolute fucking imbeciles. Just accept that there are people who saw it and they liked it.
What just happened?
That doesn't mean that you're going to, nor does it mean you need to, nor does it discredit you at all if you ended up not liking it. Again, Thursday may come and I may hate this thing. There's been a lot of things I've been excited about when I watched and I didn't like. And that's okay. Me not liking it is not discredited by a lot of people liking it. Me liking something that a lot of people don't like doesn't discredit me either. We all like what we like and we dislike what we dislike. This pathetic just pattern of the weakness in people say, oh, they like something that I don't like. And people saying they're lying. Well, you haven't seen it yet. Like all these people saying, everybody knows this show is terrible. You haven't seen the fucking show. What are you talking about? And anyway, so it's just crazy to me seeing that. And then you get segments of the online world that actually foster that types of mindset, that actually encourage that type of idiocy. I don't know. It's ridiculous to me. Listen, like what you like. Don't like what you don't like. You don't have to have other people agree with you to be justified in feeling the way you do. Anyway, I just felt like I had to go off on that for a second. Forgive me for the tangent, but I just felt like I had to say something. All right. What's next?
All right, now we're at the conclusion of the appendix of the book here.
From Dwan again.
Okay.
8 of 6. Both Everything Everywhere All at Once and Eternals had great themes, but I find Eternals' treatment of its message more coherent by a hair. Sorry for the essay. Felt good to get that off my chest. Love the show and bring on the filthy.
First of all, I love that you were so into Everything Everywhere All at Once that you wanted to write that out. So I appreciate that. Thanks for concluding your thoughts on it, dude. Appreciate that, man.
Epic.
All right, what's next?
From Tim Platt. Saw Breaking this weekend. New favorite movie of the year. I know it's early, but I hope John Boyega gets an Oscar nom. Ooh.
You know, I haven't had a chance to sit down and watch it yet, but I'm like, not one bad thing have I heard about.
No.
Like everybody talking about this is number one, that the movie is great. Doesn't mean I'm going to think that, but number one, the movie is great. Number two, Boyega turns into the performance of his career. So I'm dying to see what he does.
I can't wait.
All right, what's next?
From Terry McGinnis. Secret Wars director. How about John Watts?
Insert any name of any director. Sure. I mean, I
like
what
John Watts.
I like
Yuval.
John Watts. He's good. I would be perfectly happy with that. Or Matt Reeves.
From Jonathan Robinette. If Top Gun Maverick stayed in theaters, do you think it would have made the top 5 all-time domestic box office? It is $9 million away from Black Panther.
I think it is still in theaters. If I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
like it was this weekend.
Yeah, it's just on digital.
I mean,
now.
quite often, yeah, once something goes to digital, they will keep it in theaters for a little while longer. So it very well could. I'm not guessing because I think last weekend it made $4 million. So, you know, it just continued to drop. I think there's a very good chance it still catches Black Panther. I'm not saying it's going to, but I think there's still a good chance it does.
It could.
All right, what's next?
And you're right, Matt Reeves would do great at anything.
That's what Laura
true.
says.
It's true.
All right, what's next?
From Mike's Movie Madness, if D23 drops as many bombs as you guys are predicting, it should be officially renamed Sploosh 23.
Sploosh! I'm telling you. Kevin Feige is going to come out. All right, Sploosh number 1. Take in the glory.
We should get shirts made that say that.
Sploosh. I was there. I got splooshed at D23.
It's just
my
the Disney
God.
castle with
Taste the rainbow. All right.
Oh, no.
Bob, you liked it.
He's saying to you, I don't get it.
From Jay, what is your most impressive binge session? Me, watched 3 seasons of Game of Thrones in 3 days, followed by 3 seasons of 24 in 3 days, and lastly, Homeland, 2 seasons in 1 day.
Mine going back to Blockbuster, because I actually got this from Blockbuster. I had never seen 24. Now, this is back when Blockbuster was still around, but I went and rented the seasons, like big collections of DVDs. And I think I binged I watched all of 24 in 1 weekend. Like in less than 48 hours, I watched all of 24, all of it. And then I watched like the second season, like a few hours later. Like it was just, that for me was 24. That was the one I probably binged the hardest. Not my favorite show of all time or anything like that, but I went hard at it. Possibly because that's right, I was sick that weekend. So there wasn't much else I could do. What about you?
Probably when I did all of Breaking Bad in like 4 days. The first, Breaking Bad. I bought the 50-gallon drum Blu-ray set, and I couldn't stop watching. I was like addicted. I couldn't get it into my mind fast enough.
What about you, Chris? You have a big binge story?
I can't think of one really. I'm a mild binger,
All right.
mild-mannered lady.
What's next?
From Cutter Hale, Jack Black's birthday was yesterday, and he's my favorite actor. My favorite movie of his is School of Rock. What is your favorite Jack Black movie?
Jack Black is actually really great.
He's great.
School of Rock was really good. I loved him in, is it High Fidelity?
High Fidelity. So good.
His
Yeah, that's
character
great.
in High Fidelity.
Yeah, I was going to
remind-
say as a side part, High Fidelity too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so reflective of a lot of movie fans that I know, actually, but I really like him in that. Obviously, in Tropic Thunder, he's absolutely wonderful. I like him in a lot of stuff. What about you?
The Holiday.
Yes, that's what I was
my
going to
gosh,
say.
yeah.
What a dreamboat. He's so cute in that.
All right, what's next?
From Dad Jokes, 1 of 2. Have you ever seen a movie in Hawaii at the Consolidated Theaters? They have their own advertisement before a movie that starts similar to AMC.
With Nicole Kidman?
Wouldn't it be funny if it was also Nicole Kidman?
I
And
don't
do
know
we
if
have a
that-
part 2?
I don't see it. So
I was
think
gonna say,
that
not
it.
only, here's the thing, I've never been to Hawaii, so I've certainly never been to
Oh.
those particular theaters in Hawaii. I mean, Anna's been always trying to get me to go to Hawaii. I'm not good with flying, but I mean, I would love to go to Hawaii, especially after, when I really started wanting to go to Hawaii after I saw Forgetting Sarah Marshall. That made me want to go, but I've never been. Have you guys been to Hawaii?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that's where my honeymoon was. We went to
Really?
Maui.
Good on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never been. I want to go. All right, what's next?
From Dwayne Cinema, how about Dwayne Johnson or Vin Diesel as Ben Grimm? Just kidding. Or
I'm sure.
I saw a great post in the chat where someone said that it should be Vin Diesel because he's all about family. And what is the
It's
Fantastic
the first
Four? if not?
family. It's all about family. All right, what's next?
From Luis Enrique de la Pena, Mexicali finally has its own 3rd division soccer team, and the name is Dragons Mexicali Soccer Club. And I immediately thought about that hot D because it's the hottest city in Mexico.
Do they actually call it soccer club?
In Mexico?
I guess they must.
I would think it
Mexico?
would still be football.
Yeah, because even in the North American leagues, they'll refer to it as football club FC, like so and so FC, which is football club. Even though we call it soccer here, but they still call it. So that's interesting. They actually call it soccer club. All right, what's next?
From Steve Alexander. Hey, John, do you remember the earthquake a few years ago? You were live with Aaron and Chris.
Yep.
I'm sure it was scary then, but looking back now, it was funny. LOL. I love all of you. You all make the show along with the Goat Campea.
That's a $50 tip he sent in
That's
there
so
for that,
nice.
dude. Thank you so much for that, dude. Thank you for
Dang.
supporting our channel on that level. Yeah, I remember it. I was just more annoyed. I was annoyed because, okay, look, you guys know, my headphones know. I do not like it when things go wrong on my show because I feel like I let my audience down, and the last thing in the world I like doing is disappointing or letting down my audience. And I get really mad when it does. And so when the earthquake hit, honestly, the only thing I was thinking is, this fucking earthquake is interrupting the show and people are tuning in, and now we got to stop doing the show. And people,
Blasted tectonic plates.
damn you
Man,
to
you
hell.
gotta take credit for that. That is what production value is. That's why you're a great producer.
But the look on, I will never forget this, the look on Chris's face.
I was so happy.
A first mild tremor. The video's up on YouTube if you want. Just up John Campea Show earthquake and you'll find it. Like Chris was so excited at first when it was a mild turn. She goes, this is my first earthquake.
I'm always asleep for them.
Erin was instantly freaked out.
She started saying it was the big one.
It's a big one. She did. Oh my God, she was so freaked out. I
was
feel
great.
bad talking about her because she's not here to defend herself. She's like, oh, it's the big one. But when the mild tremor, the first hard hit,
Then it was
hard one hit,
oh.
Chris's face went from like excitement, like, wow, I'm having a California earthquake to, oh my God, we're gonna die.
Yeah.
And then
It wasn't even that big.
and it
No.
wasn't even that, but my sign then fell over, things started falling down, and I'm like, you could almost see me getting visibly angry because I turned and looked at my things falling over. I'm like, all right, guys, we're gonna have to stop this. I was so mad.
What was great is it cut out then too. And so then people freaked out because everything started falling and then the feed just died.
Yeah.
And so people are just like, are they?
What's going on?
What happened to them?
That was fun. Good look, in hindsight, it was pretty fun.
Oh, yeah.
All right, what's next?
From Dr. Stinky. Hey, John and crew. I just watched Me Time over the weekend and thoroughly enjoyed it. I don't understand the 8% on Rotten Tomatoes, but I loved it. Bring on the filthy.
Is that the Kevin Hart one?
It is.
Yeah, with Mark Wahlberg.
I thought the trailer looked like there could be potential there, but I also saw in the trailers that this is a movie that could go really south. And oddly enough, it looked like a movie Ray would watch instantly. Did you watch Me Time, Ray? Okay, I'm gonna go.
Just wake Ray up.
I have not bothered with it yet. I want to see. This is one of those ones where I want to see if people really had a good time with it. And I have heard bad things, but I'm glad you enjoyed it, man. I'm glad you did. All right, what's next?
From Cody Carroll. Would you rather see Predator versus Vikings or Samurais?
Samurais.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the whole stuff. Yeah. There's a lot. But don't get me wrong. Viking stuff would be pretty cool too. But if I had to pick one, I don't think they're going to do either. But Samurai totally is the one that I would go for. All right. What's next?
From Brownie Jacob G. Don't know if this was said already, but after hearing the derivative line, I feel like the writers of She-Hulk watched the John Campea Show.
I said that myself because I'm always talking about the thing. I'm not really big on derivative characters, but and then they brought up that line in She-Hulk. I'm like, I'm probably thinking way too highly of this here, but I'm thinking they totally watch our show because I don't know. Who knows? All right, what's next?
From Blake62. I was in after episode 1 of The House of Dragon, but I'm all the way in now. Game of Thrones is at its best as a political drama, and they get that.
I'm just the way every character was playing. I said this earlier, was playing the game, and you see how each of them is positioning and maneuvering and manipulating and backstabbing, and it's just I'm watching this. And I'm like, I am so invested in this now that I get a little bit angry when the episodes end. Even though they're nice long episodes, I'm still a little bit angry when the episodes end, and they are killing it so far. Now, again, it is just 2 episodes, so maybe it goes south from here, but so far, so good. All right, what's next?
From Brian O'Neill Singleton. You can please some of the people some of the time, but you can't please all of the people all of the time. Music is the personality of a franchise. Bring on the filthy.
I've never heard that saying, but
That's
I like-
Lincoln.
Lincoln said that.
Yeah.
Music is the
Well,
personality
not
of a
music.
franchise.
Not music, but the first part.
Lincoln said, I believe, Luke Skywalker's a good guy. Abraham Lincoln. Yeah, you can please some of the people. Some. I mean, but it's just so funny having just come out of Rogue One again and remember the huge things about how stupid are they not to use the Star Wars music.
And they use
then those
other
happen-
themes, though.
Yes,
They
other
use
music in
Star
that
Wars
too.
themes throughout that entire film.
Yep. Oh, well, it is what it is. All right, what's next?
And like after Lincoln was done with Bill and Ted. And
From Jermaine King. Can we please wish a happy belated birthday to the viceroy of vocalization, the breaker of chains, and the girl who waited, our very own Chris Carr? You sure can, Jermaine.
What'd you wait for?
Sure didn't.
Tell you, can I confess something?
Yeah.
So yesterday, Anne, who is the thoughtful one in our relationship, she's like, should I send something over for Chris for her birthday and blah, blah. I'm like, listen, she's been making us celebrate her birthday month all month.
Yeah.
So I'm a little Chris birthday monthed out.
I'm not. Keep celebrating me, Ann Campea.
It's still the week.
I said-
And we still got what, one more day?
Oh, no, this goes through Saturday, John.
When's the 31st?
What? Oh, I'm celebrating till the 3rd. Chrisonica started on August 27th.
Oh, so it's not the calendar month.
No.
It is the 31-day
An
period
8
surrounding.
Well,
the
and there's a
birth.
specific 8-day
my
festival of
God.
me.
I see now. Okay,
Yeah.
that now that I understand it, that
I'm
changes things.
completely reasonable. Oh my gosh. I sent my parents a text because on our family calendar too, it says Chrisonica begins. I was like, thanks for loving me even though I'm so obnoxious.
All right, what's next?
Sorry, I'm this way, guys. Vixter 5001 or 501. Yeah, 5001. Ooh. Netflix gave us Dark 3.
Dark, period.
3 seasons of perfectly written, acted, and crafted television. It has my loyalty for that alone. And now Sandman.
You know, here's the funny thing. I've had a bunch of people who earnestly and legitimately have asked me a lot. And I've gotten a lot of these messages. I mean, you guys have probably seen it too, saying, why would I subscribe to a channel if they just keep canceling great shows? My response has been, while I share the frustration of a show you love getting canceled, Dark Crystal, how did you fall in love with those shows? That's right, Netflix made them and delivered them to you. And then they did it again, and then they did it again, and then they did it again. And while I am furious at the cancellation of, we'll just use Dark Crystal as an example. While I am furious at the cancellation of Dark Crystal, am I going to say, well, I wish I had just never seen it if I wasn't going to get a season 2? No, I love that season of television.
It's so
I
good.
love that show. So, yeah, the answer to the question of why should I keep subscribing to Netflix if they just cancel the shows I love is because they gave you shows you loved.
John, I wasn't going to bring this up, but since
Uh-oh.
you just gave me a lead in, yesterday, Netflix generously dropped a trailer for Manifest Season 4.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Manifest Season 4, it's in 2 parts. And Manifest, I mean, people hashtag save Manifest. It was never coming back. Never coming back. The most glorious gobbledygook you ever did see. Netflix saved it. It's coming back, baby.
Can I just say, and I want to remind you of this, that the first time I ever heard the term, this is a Manifest story, the first time I had ever heard the term hate watched was you telling me about Manifest. I'm like, are you watching I remember this is back. I was still at Collider, I think. I said, are you watching Manifest? Oh, dude, I hate watching that show. Like it's so
and-
ridiculous, but I have to watch every episode.
Dude, Stockholm Syndrome. I hate watched it, and suddenly now I love it. I'm a browbeaten. It goes against
Submission.
everything I believe in. It's an impossible premise show that I have now become. It's a rallying cry. My entire personality has been built around the ridiculousness. Dude, there's a volcano in the trailer. I'm like,
course there
yes.
is.
A volcano.
I might be Anne Heche's last appearance. I can't wait.
Oh.
I
I mean,
didn't
why
know
is
he was in it.
I don't think she is, but there's a volcano, and Anne Heche was in Volcano, so maybe it's the last time she ever appeared anywhere.
my.
I mean, I don't even know, but when that showed up, I even turned to Elizabeth. I shouted, I go, there's a volcano! And she said, what? I said, you've got to watch this, and I made her watch the teaser.
All right. What's next?
Go Netflix.
From Jedediah Elias, no spoilers, but the scene in Nope where the camera goes inside the alien ship after Ricky's speech is one of the most horrifying things.
Okay, so we can't even read the rest of it because you can't say no spoilers and then instantly
And then
start
give us a
giving
camera
away
angle?
significant things. So we're gonna have. I'm unfortunately we're gonna have to skip over that.
I agree.
All right, what's
From
next?
Joseph Sanchez, never watched Game of Thrones, but I decided to watch House of the Dragon, and I love it. Definitely watching Thrones after this season is over. Awesome.
You know
go.
that's the great special prize in the candy box for people who have
Yeah.
never watched Game of Thrones. Now you're watching House of the Dragon. It's like, now you've got what 9 seasons, 8 seasons,
8 seasons.
8 seasons, which should have been 9. You got 8 seasons of Game of Thrones to watch after that, and the goodness just keeps continuing.
I mean, like 72 hours.
oh jeez, oh my god.
No,
All right,
thank you.
what's next?
Luke Stockton, any update on the Office version?
I was asked this the other day, and a thing see, there's something significant I can't say. Just it's on hold right now. We've already recorded some of it. But it's because of something I'm not allowed to say publicly right now. It's got to be on hold for now, but it's coming. It's coming. All right, what's next?
From Rob Buck, just sending a happy belated birthday to Chris. My 31st was last Tuesday. Keep up the awesome work, guys. Also, if Penn is Reed, I need Teller to be Sue. I love that kind of
Oh
thing.
my God, John, did you really?
Come on, that's. Well, I'm sorry. I like Penn and Teller. I'm just trying to imagine Teller not speaking a line of dialogue and having the long of some kind of a wig on. I'm all about
Great.
it. Sign it up. I'll be there. All right. What's next?
From Brandon Nezamundine. Ray is right. Samaritan is effing awful. Stallone is sleepwalking, and the third act twist will make you pull your hair out.
You know, when they announced it was going to go straight to Amazon, and we were like, what the F? At CinemaCon, you committed this was going to be a theatrical release and blah, blah, blah. Maybe it's terrible, which didn't sound right because the movie looked great.
The trailer looked really
I thought
fun.
the trailers looked really good. I liked the concept of it. Again, I thought the promos were spot on and looked like a lot of fun. But no, apparently it really was. Nope, we can't put this in theaters.
I'm telling you, right in the beginning, during the intro credits, you'll realize what you're in for. It's just
That good,
It
huh?
was, it's what Easter Sunday should have been. Because while I was watching it, I was laughing the whole time. Ask Ryan. I was just laughing the whole time. I was like, is this supposed to be a comedy? Because it was hilarious.
All right, what's next?
And we are ending with some support from Brian O'Neill Singleton.
Thank you, Brian. All right, guys. And that'll do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show. Thank you so much for being here and making this show part of your day. Big special thank you to you guys who sent in those super chats. Number one, because you gave us great fun things to talk about. But number two, you supported this channel as you did it, and all of us involved with the show. Thank you guys so much for your support. Want to remind you guys a little bit later today at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we have our House of the Dragon, the Game of Thrones after show. Make sure you guys come on back and we're going to talk about it in all of its spoilery goodness. And we want to hear your thoughts, opinions, and theories as we do it as well. So guys, for everybody in the room, Mr. Robert Meyer Burnett.
Manifest.
Wonderful Chris Carr. Birthday month. Over there, the Samaritans' #1 fan, Ray Ora, and producer running the show today, Jonathan Voico. My name is John Campea. That'll do it for us for today, guys. Thanks a lot for being here. And until next time, my friends, bye-bye.